Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto smarter than Minato part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Konoha. The village hidden in the leaves, located near the heart of the land of fire. The leaf was usually a safe, happy ninja village. There was a sea of trees surrounding the surrounding landscape, starting a few dozen meters from the large protective wall. The village itself usually had a cheery air to it. The streets would bustle with activity by day and be patrolled by ninja at night, giving off a very non-militaristic feel to most citizens. Despite the lack of an intimidating presence, there have been several times where the leaf has shown its great strength. There have been a total of 3 great shinobi wars, all of which have bred powerful and famous ninja from the victorious villages, Konoha being among them every time. Aside from the devastating times of war when the leaf had to showcase its might, there was also this day. October 10th. The evening started off as both a trying yet exciting time for a very important couple, secretive though they may be. This couple was Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki, otherwise known as the Yondaime Hokage and the secret love of his life. Kushina had just gone into labor, which on its own is a stressful, painful experience. Unfortunately, there was another fact about Kushina that compounded upon their worries. Kushina was a Jinchuriki, more specifically, she was the Jinchuriki of the widely feared Kyuubi. Due to the nature of the seal that held the nine-tailed fox at bay, as soon as the woman entered labor the seal would weaken. Minato, being the dutiful husband that he is, whisked her away to a remote, safe place with a trusted team to ensure the safety of his wife and child. Despite the Yondaime's best efforts, however, disaster was sure to strike. This brings us to the current tragedy within the leaf. The Kyuubi had broken free of its jailer and was on a rampage throughout the village. Everywhere there were ninja, defending either the powerless citizens or their beloved home. The Yondaime himself, however, was nowhere to be found. The ninja were rallying behind their previous Kage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Lord Third. Valiant as their combined efforts were, nothing could stop the chakra beast. All that was left to do was buy time for the fourth to return and save his village. Outside of Konoha, birthing safe house. There were 3 people in the small underground room. Well, 2 people and a newborn baby. Minato Namikaze looked longingly at his exhausted wife who cradled a crying Naruto. As the blond man gathered his things in preparation to save his village, he heard his wife speak out. "I really hate that you have to go," the fiery redhead said in an uncharacteristically soft voice. In all honesty, Minato was also hesitant to leave his small yet precious family. "Bah, you know my crazy heroics are the reason you love me in the first place, Kushinaheim," he replied with false confidence, keeping his back turned to hide the apprehension in his eyes. Steeling his nerves, he strode over to his wife and child. "This is what I get for sharing my hero with the village, huh?" Kushina shot back with a little more of her usual gusto, but the tears brimming in her eyes gave away her fear for the love of her life. Stooping low, Minato placed a heated kiss on his wife's lips, and then a gentler one on his now quiet son's head. "I'll be right back, gotta go do hero stuff." And with that, he was gone. In a flash. Naruto resumed his crying for reasons only a baby can understand, his mother joining in with him. The silent tears that streaked down her face as she comforted her son were for her husband. She knew firsthand how horrifyingly dangerous that fox was, but at least Minato had an entire village at his back. In the midst of tending to her child, Kushina was alerted to a bright yellow flash in the room. Looking up with hope in her features, she only saw a trio of what must have been shadow clones. "Minato?" 2 of the clones revealed scrolls in plain ink and immediately began writing off to the side. The 3rd clone approached Kushina and Naruto as he spoke. "I'm taking you back to our house. The basement stronghold should be secure and secluded, much more so than here." With nothing more than a determined nod of her head, the trio left in another bright flash that left the 2 clones to finish their work in silence. After the first clone finished with the contents of the scroll, it addressed it to a man he knew would not only get it but also heed the messages it contained. To Hiruzen Sarutobi, Lord Third. "Hiruzen. I am now fairly certain that I will end up trading my life for my village. Do not mourn me too long, for I am honored that I have this opportunity to do the title of Hokage proud. I will also have enclosed 2 separate scrolls, one that details the last of the reform plans for the leaf that I have been messing with and one for Naruto's godfather, Jiraiya-sensei. The first scroll will be for whoever my successor turns out to be, and I pray to Kami that it isn't you, old-timer. Jokes aside though, this is goodbye. Keep an eye on the new guy for me, eh? These youngsters as you call us tend to muck things right? Please make sure Sensei gets my message as soon as possible. It's a revised request if the worst should happen to Kushina as well. Also try to keep an eye on Naruto for me. That beautiful little boy looks like he'll have a bit of a red-hot habanero attitude to him, if you know what I mean. There will also be other circumstances that will make him require an extra eye, a circumstance I'm sure I'll hate myself for up until the very moment I bite the big one. With that, I'll see you later, old friend. Minato Namikaze, Lord Fourth. With the scroll to Hiruzen finished, the clone started on the scroll made out to his successor with his last wishes as Hokage described. As this was happening, the second clone finished the scroll to Jiraiya-sensei. Jiraiya-sensei. Hey there, you pervy old bastard. If you're reading this, then it's a safe bet that I'm dead. I'm truly sorry that you have outlived yet another student, and I'll miss you, sensei. First of all, thank you. For the training, for the examples you've given me, and especially for believing in me. I couldn't have done it without you, sensei, and I know that sometimes in my life I forget to tell my precious people just how much they mean to me. You are one of my precious people, and for that, I can't thank you enough. Also, remember how you said you'd be Naruto's godfather? Haha, yeah, about that, thanks again. I'm going to have to ask you to take that really seriously if tonight, or any other night, the unthinkable happens to Kushina. I'll try to prevent that with every fiber in my being, but I can't really do much when I'm dead, right? Little bit of dark humor for you there, my bad. By now, you probably already know about my plan to enlist Naruto's help in saving the village. Unfortunately, I know that the village won't see it that way, which is why Kushina kept the fox hidden during her time here. If worst comes to worst, sensei, I need you to take care of my boy for me. You are the only man left that I trust to keep him safe from both the villagers and the damned fox. I would also love it if he could grow to be strong, but just look at his parents. What am I even worried about? Seriously though, keep him safe, sensei. He'll take his mother's last name to stay safe from IWA and the rest of the idiots who hate me. Naruto Uzumaki has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? If you can, raise him in Konoha. I know it will be hard with your spy network, but I want him to grow to love the village as much as his old man does. Take this as the last wish of your student. I'm counting on you, Jiraiya-sensei. Also, if you impart any of your perviness onto my son, Kushina will find a way to come back and castrate you. Her words, not mine. Minato Namikaze, your blonde baka. Suddenly, the third clone popped back into the room, adding another scroll to the pile. The scroll was already sealed and signed to his son. Naruto's scroll from him would be one of the only things he would have to remember his father by. With a sad smile, two of the clones popped out of existence as the final clone sealed the scrolls into a final sealing scroll and delivered them to the Hokage's desk. With only enough chakra left for a single Hiroshin and a few minutes after the technique, the clones flashed back to his family to at least send a few final memories to the real Minato. And from there, the rest is history. On the outskirts of Fire Country, 2 days after the Kyuubi attack, Jiraiya took in the haggard appearance of the heavily breathing Konoha A&B with a critical eye. The man had obviously been moving nearly constantly to reach him. Jiraiya had received word by one of his informants Falcons a day prior to the attack on his village, and as such was on his way back from the land of rice. The fact that the Hokage had sent a runner did not bode well with the Sannin. The Hokage knew that he would be returning to bolster village strength after such an incident. Also, the fact that it was a runner sent to him instead of a bird was worrying. Jiraiya-sama, I come with grave news from Konoha. You have undoubtedly heard of the attack already, but I bring you the last words and wishes to you of our Yondaime Hokage. I am very sorry for your loss, the Anbu said in a somber tone, unable to meet the eyes of the renowned man. Jiraiya stood still, chest and stomach aching as if struck. He knew there was always a possibility, but the confirmation hurt. It hurt worse than almost anything. Minato had been his sole surviving pupil, and eventually, the barrier of sensei and student had dissolved. Jiraiya had never had a son, and Minato was deprived of a father, so the roles filled perfectly with both of them happy with the outcomes. But Minato was gone and all that Jiraiya had was a piece of paper with his student's last wishes on them. Jiraiya would suffer in the stomach of the Shinigami itself before he turned away the wishes of Minato. With a heavy hand and a heavier heart, Jiraiya took the scroll. Thank you? I have to tend to this before I continue. Please, return home and help our people as much as you can. The Anbu left with a final bow, and Jiraiya was alone. Silently, he made his way to the nearest town and rented a room. Doing such was an unusual treat usually saved for when he brought company with him, but he needed the seclusion of a room to process what he had learned. In a cheap, dark room sitting next to a solitary candle, Jiraiya sat and read. And in the dark by himself, Jiraiya did something he hadn't done since he lost Tsunade. He cried. Konoha 1 week after the attack. Hiruzen sat behind the desk that had already consumed most of his life. Wearing the hat once more, Hiruzen once again looked at the scroll he had in front of him. This was the second scroll that he had from Minato, albeit unintentionally. There was a separate piece of paper to the side that had a few notes scrawled on its surface. Hiruzen was going to do his best to convince the council to instate the changes the Yondaime wanted. On the other hand, there was an old, familiar tingle crawling up his spine. Yes, it was unmistakable. Jiraiya was going to do or say something stupid. Not a minute later, a Jiraiya barged into his office holding a crying Naruto. "Sensei, what the hell am I supposed to do with this thing?" "Yup, there it is." "Well, Jiraiya-kun, you could start by holding him with his head above his feet," Hiruzen told him with a knowing smile on his face. Smiles of any kind were getting rare these days. "Sensei, I don't know if I am cut out for this kind of thing," the Sannin said as the baby slowly stopped crying. "And that's exactly why I think you're perfect for the job." "Thank you, I'm so relieved I don't have to." There was a pause as the Toad Sage cut himself off. "Wait, what?" Adorning another smile, Hiruzen gestured his old student to take a seat. "Jiraiya, you have never had to care for a child before. This is a powerful experience that I think you would only benefit from. Not to mention young Naruto here having a constant watch on his seal. I can tell you myself, the headaches will eventually be overshadowed by pride." Jiraiya fell silent at that, but whether it was from his sensei's advice or from the mention of the seal that locked a beast of tremendous power in the newborn. "If it wasn't for Minato, I'd be drowning my sorrow in missions and women right now. I guess for his sake I'll make my way through this." "I'm happy to hear that. I'll arrange for an apartment to be set up for the two of you. Now let me keep working on this reformed academy idea, would you? Unless you want to take the hat from me too." But Jiraiya had already bolted with Naruto, staying as far away from the job as he could. Hiruzen merely chuckled as he got back to making the notes he'd present to the council. Konoha, Naruto age 4. Naruto sat in the park, playing idly by himself. Jiraiya, his father, had created a tight if odd bond with Naruto. Jiraiya managed well enough taking care of a child, and he was never alone in the task. Naruto had started to notice that people tended to avoid him, but his dad gave him all the attention he needed. And when he couldn't, Naruto could always count on his sometimes present Uncle Kakashi. Luckily, when one was busy, the other was always free. His dad was out of town on another trip, and Naruto was staying with his Uncle Kakashi. Kakashi sometimes let him play in the park while he read his books, but for some reason, older girls don't like it when he reads them. Since the yelling gets annoying, Naruto liked to go off on his own to play. Suddenly, there were 4 feet next to the small boy, and he followed them up to see who had come over to him. "Hi," said a pink-haired girl who looked to be about his age. "How come you're playing alone?" Naruto didn't know exactly how to answer her. No one except his family really bothered to talk to him. Was that what he was supposed to say? He was alone because that's what happens. "Yeah. Hey, you wanna come play with us on the swing?" said the second girl, a long-haired blonde. Naruto answered this one immediately, and with a lot of enthusiasm. "Sure. My name's Naruto, by the way." "Great. I'm Sakura and this is Ino. We're best friends," the pink-haired Sakura told him excitedly as they ran to the swings. "Do you want to be our friend too?" Ino, the blonde, asked him as she clambered onto the wooden plank. Naruto was full of happy emotions, so much so that he could speak. His first friends. Naruto nodded vigorously and quickly wiped his eyes as he took turns with Sakura pushing Ino on the swing. Naruto decided then and there that these two girls, Sakura and Ino, would be his best friends. And for the next hour they had a great time, screaming on the swing, playing ninja, and just being children. Much too soon, however, a pair of moms could be seen and eventually heard, drawing the two girls away. "We have to go now, Naruto. You want to play again tomorrow?" Sakura asked as she helped Ino brush leaves from her long hair. "Uh-huh. Same time at the swing again?" Naruto asked her, still ecstatic that he had made friends. "Sure!" Ino yelled as she and Sakura ran towards their mothers. "See you tomorrow, Naruto." Naruto waved goodbye until he could no longer see their retreating forms. Naruto then ran back to where his uncle was still reading on a bench. "Ready to go home, Naruto?" the masked Jounin asked as he put away his book. "Sure, Uncle Kakashi. And guess what?" Naruto almost yelled. Chuckling, Kakashi answered, "What is it that's got you wound up?" "I made friends. They're really nice and pretty and their names are Sakura and Ino, and I want to come back tomorrow," and Naruto carried on all the way home. Kakashi listened, happy for his sensei's son and already planning to take him back the next day. Naruto jumped around the road, over and sometimes into old puddles, trying and always failing to soak his uncle as he talked about his plans for the next day. Naruto had left Kakashi in the same spot as the day before and was already sitting on the swing waiting for his friends. They were a little late, but he didn't mind, His uncle was always late, so he was used to it. Naruto kicked his legs idly, his anticipation for the fun he would have with his new friends growing. After another few minutes, he saw a solitary figure, likely one of the girls who had cemented their places in his heart. As the figure walked towards Naruto, he noticed that it couldn't be one of them. This person walked differently, almost like they were afraid of doing so. "Hi. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. What's your name?" Naruto called out to this small stranger as he started to make out more details. "Hello, I'm Hinata," came the soft response. The girl had almost pure white eyes and dark hair. Naruto noticed that she seemed really shy. "I'm waiting for my new friends. Do you want to play with us when they get here?" Naruto asked the shy girl a little too loudly, jumping down from the swing to talk. Why yes I would. Thank you, and Naruto-kun," Hinata told him, although she reacted like something like that would never happen. Some time passed in silence, Naruto watching the road and Hinata fidgeting with her fingers. Naruto, never being one to sit still for so long, broke the almost uneasy silence. "Do you want to start anyway while we wait for them?" Hinata looked at the blonde boy briefly before giving him a nod. "Great. We can swing for a while so we can see when they get here. Come on, I'll push you." Before long, laughter could be heard throughout the small park, the two children almost entirely focused on getting higher than their playmate. Well, at least the young girl was. Naruto, while still enjoying his time with his new friend, was keeping a diligent eye on the road for the two girls who had promised to show up. They're just late, they promised, and you can never break a promise. When Hinata was growing visibly bored with the swing set, Naruto asked her if she wanted to play ninja, following the pattern that had already succeeded in making him friends. She agreed quickly and watched in wonder as Naruto sprinted away with an energy that seemed boundless. The setting sun could find the two children resting with their backs against the tree that held the swing. Hinata was admittedly tired, but Naruto gazed at the road with an even breath. That hardly made sense to the girl, though. "I've already started training with father and Niji-Nizan, but I'm more tired than Naruto is. He really is amazing." Eventually, the two had to part ways. "We should, play more often, Naruto-kun." That simple sentence took almost all the courage the young girl had. "You betcha, Hinata-chan," Naruto yelled back with what appeared to be his usual vigor as he ran off. "Bye. Today was a lot of fun, thank you for being my friend." Friends, Hinata thought as she walked towards the Hyuga waiting in the road to escort her home. Kakashi looked up from his book when he heard the familiar energetic footsteps. Somehow giving an invisible yet genuine smile from behind his mask, his eye managed to show his happiness at seeing the child. "Make any new friends today, Naruto?" he asked, mostly out of politeness than expectation. The poor boy typically didn't receive many kind words from others. "Yeah. Her name is Hinata and she's really nice. Kinda quiet though, but I like her," Naruto yelled as he tugged on his uncle's sleeve. "Come on, I want ramen." Kakashi noticed the slight change in his tone, the small waver that hinted something other than happiness. "Sure thing, Naruto, and I'll even make sure Jiraiya takes us both when he gets back." "All right." Naruto jumped around once again as they made their way to get his favorite food. "Same time tomorrow, I'm guessing?" Naruto gave a slight pause, thinking. "Yeah, I think I want to come back again." Kakashi again took note of the repressed emotion behind his favorite brat's happy tone. Likely sadness, but from what Kakashi couldn't tell. In truth, Kakashi wasn't the most emotionally adept member of the village. The death of his father, followed by both of his teammates, and then his father figure sensei had wreaked havoc on the young man. Naruto was the only thing he'd put any energy into aside from his ANBU missions and the memorial stone. As much as he cared for the young boy, he felt himself becoming drained and needed time to recharge. Luckily, Jiraiya was due back within 2 days, and he could hopefully help out the blonde bundle of energy. The next day, Naruto stood shocked in front of an ashamed Ino. "What do you mean you don't want to be my friend?" "It's not really that I don't want to, it's just that my daddy says you're no good," the blonde girl told him. But why doesn't he like me?" Naruto asked her in a quiet voice, his eyes downcast. "I don't know, but if my dad doesn't like you then I can't either." "Bye," Naruto Ino stated, slightly confused by the words. As she walked away, Naruto walked to the swing, devastated. "Why don't any of the adults like me? I'm a good kid, I haven't done anything wrong." A tear slipped from the tip of Naruto's nose and fell to his knee. "I guess I can't have any friends until everyone likes me. How am I supposed to do that? I don't know why they all hate me." Memories of the disgusted looks he'd get when shopping with his dad, the whispered nasty words he'd hear as he walked past groups of people, and every other instance he'd ignored flashed before him. At some point, Hinata had appeared by his side, laying a comforting hand on his shoulder. Will she leave too when she tells her parents? I don't want to be lonely anymore. I like having friends, I'll just have to make everyone like me. I'll be Hokage, just like Gigi. Everyone has to like the Hokage. I'll make sure to be the best one ever, even better than the Yandere. Naruto thanked Hinata but told her he didn't feel like playing. She understood and watched as the blonde wiped his tears on his sleeve and trudged off. I want to go home, Uncle Kakashi, Naruto said as he walked up to the reading ninja. Naruto, what's wrong? Kakashi asked worriedly, putting away his book. I just want to go home, but Naruto could keep the tears from coming back. Ino says she can't be my friend. She's not allowed to like me anymore, and I want to. He interrupted himself with a half hiccup, half sob. Go home. Kakashi picked up the crying boy, something he hadn't done in years since the kid never stopped moving, and started towards the apartment. Naruto wrapped his arms around his uncle's neck and buried his tear-stained face into them. Yeah, hopefully, Jiraiya would be home soon. Konoha, October 10th, Naruto's 6th birthday. Naruto made his way towards the small apartment that had been his home for the past 6 years. His arms were wrapped around a bag full of goodies, instant ramen chief among them. In his mouth was the remnants of a dango stick, the last bit of the treat hanging just past his lips. Naruto started to cut through his favorite alleyway shortcut and saw one of his newest friends. The puppy was brown and skinny, its ribs visible through its dirty coat. Naruto loved the dog, because no matter how dirty or sad the pup seemed, he always had a friendly smile and time for Naruto. Animals were much better than humans, the boy had found. Animals don't judge you. Animals don't yell at you, or chase you from their stalls or lie about being your friend. Hey boy, miss me? Naruto asked as he set his bag on top of a crate and knelt next to the dog. Happy yips was his response, and Naruto surrendered his last bite of dango to his friend. You and Hinata are my best friends, right? You want to go see her today, buddy? Naruto asked as he pet and played with his friend. A blissful minute passed. Very few things can be seen as more pure than a boy and a dog enjoying each other's company. Suddenly, Naruto heard a scuffle, then a small change in the air. Then all of a sudden, his little friend gave a loud and painful cry, and blood splattered onto Naruto's arms and face. A kunai was buried into the ribcage of his puppy. Holy fuck, came a slurred voice from the far end of the alleyway. How you miss fucking that? Hey guy, I just aimed for the one on the left, MK? An equally drunk response was heard. Naruto heard nothing after that because his shock had given way to despair and desperation. His breathing increased as he cradled the head of his lifeless friend, tears trailing down his cheeks. No, please, was all Naruto could choke out. You hear that? One of the two shinobi said to the wall. Little demon boy SSS begging for his his life. Ha! The drunk man's counterpart smacked him loudly on the chest as he reached for another kunai with his spare hand. How pathetical of him, I'll just take his tongue so he can't make to do it no more. Naruto picked up the still warm, and hopefully still rescuable, dog and backed away in fear. The two ninja were now towering over Naruto, weapon brandished menacingly. Naruto turned to run, but the kunai flashed by him and knocked over the crate and his bag. Naruto tripped over his own groceries, his birthday treats, and twisted his ankle. Damn. Okay, rule new. No more throwing. A now weaponless attacker laughed as he approached Naruto. The first thing to go was his ankle. Naruto may have been able to limp off with it sprained as it was, but the merciless ninja stomped a foot down onto the injured joint, snapping T loudly. Naruto screamed out in agony and reached down for his broken ankle. Shut up, demon! The second ninja kicked Naruto in the stomach powerfully, sending him flying into the alley wall and his puppy flying from his grasp. Naruto felt his head smash into the harsh surfaces of both the wall and the ground, making his vision swim immediately. Naruto's thoughts then became jumbled, and it only added to the confusion of why he was getting attacked and called a demon. Why did these men want him and his puppy dead? Suddenly, there was a hand gripping Naruto's throat, and he was hoisted up the wall by the cruel grip. Naruto futilely kicked his good leg at his attacker, and it was met with yet another kunai piercing his calf. Naruto didn't even have the breath to scream in pain. Looky here, demon, the man whispered into Naruto's ear. His breath stank of alcohol, and there was a sharp point digging into the side of his stomach. I'm going to stab you right here, straight through this little boy you're hiding in. Yeah, you'll pay for taking our mother from us, you bastard fox. A thrown shuriken followed this voice and found itself buried into Naruto's shoulder. I'm going to stab you, and you'll bleed out here on the ground. A slow, painful death. Still better than a demon like you, Naruto sensed more than felt the blade slam into him, deserves. Suddenly, the world started to fade out. Naruto noticed that somehow he was on the ground. Next to him lay his dead dog, and Naruto only had one thought as his vision filled with a somehow familiar white. At least I'll get to die with a friend. And all was black. Naruto opened his eyes and stood in wonder. Not only was he no longer laying on the bloodstained ground, he was standing in what appeared to be a sewer. Naruto had no idea what the afterlife was supposed to look like, but if this was it then he was severely unimpressed. Naruto ran a hand down the cold, damp pipe and noticed that it seemed to hum with power. The hallway he was in seemed to come to a dark, abrupt end. Naruto started a slow pace and began exploring his new environment. The hallway, while at first seemingly ending in a dark abyss, extended with every step he took towards its end. The experience was disorienting in itself, and Naruto stopped after a short while to sit and think. What's going on? Is this one of those ninja things Uncle Kakashi is always telling me stories about? Where people can make you see pretend things? I am surprised that you have found yourself here so early, you little flea, came a deep, intimidating voice. Naruto looked around frantically, more out of desire to find someone in this strange place than out of fear. Your ignorance nearly got us killed. You are a complete disgrace of a container. I'm in prison? What? Who are you? Naruto called back out, slightly stung by even more harsh words being slung his way. Out of the darkness in front of Naruto appeared a set of towering cage-like bars. In the middle of the set was a piece of paper with an incomprehensible pattern on it, but all that seemed to be caged was more darkness. I have no reason to speak with you. Be grateful I saved your pathetic life and leave me be. With this angry statement appeared a solitary, massive eye that looked directly at the diminutive child. The sheer anger and hatred that seemed to pour from the eye steadily increased as its gaze remained fixed on Naruto, waiting for the scalding reply that usually accompanied Jinchuriki. Naruto felt the overwhelming presence and stood in silence. After a long minute of the silent stress in the air, Naruto spoke out, "Thank you, then, for saving me. Ninja are even scarier than Uncle Kakashi's stories made them seem like. Those two worthless piles of flesh are no more a true ninja than the insects I burn off my hide," was followed by an angry scoff. "Now leave me be. It is enough that I am stuck here. I should rip you to shreds for making this more annoying than it has to be." "But I don't know how to leave, and does all that mean that you're really strong?" Naruto asked timidly as he slowly sat on the cold ground. "This child's naivety will get us both killed. On the other hand, perhaps he could be molded into a suitable container, unlike my previous failures of Jinchuriki." "Foolish child, flattery will get you nowhere." There was less bite in the ominous voice than before. "Whose flattery? Is she stuck here too? Maybe we can get out if we all work together," Naruto said excitedly as he jumped to his feet. There was a low, dark chuckle. "Foolish little flea, you do not honestly want me to escape this prison." Naruto appeared confused at this. "How come? If you're stuck here with me and this flattery person, don't we all want out?" The voice started to say something but stumbled over its words before shouting once more, "You absolute idiot! Flattery isn't a person, or even one of my kin. Flattery is a description of an action. Almost as useless as the concept of courage or some other human bullshit. Of all my containers, you are easily the least intelligent." There was a huff as the eye closed. "And no one wishes me free of this prison," because the eye reopened and slowly rose in height. More of a body was brought into light as the eye rose higher and higher, and soon there was a towering form of a sleek and powerful-looking fox looking down on Naruto. The heavy presence from earlier returned increased 1,000-fold. "I will slaughter all in my sight upon my release. The scent of fear when they once again behold my power would fuel me, and soon all of mankind would be wiped away in penance of trapping me like a beast." Even Naruto could tell that this outburst was not a threat like the rest had been. After getting over his initial surprise of seeing a giant talking fox, Naruto could sense that the tone change from the fox was a pledge of vengeance instead of a hasty threat. Naruto wasn't quite old enough to grasp the severity of the action, but it still stunned him into momentary silence. When the fox heard the absence of stupid remarks from the flea in front of him, he continued speaking. With a tone of finality and power, the fox told the nearly quivering boy, "I am the great Kyubi. The terrible and mighty nine-tailed fox, a harbinger of destruction and murder, an entity of pure hate and malice. Most importantly, I am the destruction of Konoha. Do not forget your place in the food chain, flea." Naruto was still silent, trying to make sense of some of the bigger words. Although some of the harder ones went over his head, Naruto got the idea of who the Kyubi was. "I have been pumping the meager maximum of my chakra your pathetic body can handle through your real-world body. You will wake up soon, and finally, leave me to my damned peace." The massive fox curled up again, its now closed eye falling back into the position Naruto first saw it in. Darkness enveloped the inside of the cage, soon extending past the bars. Suddenly the walls and floor were gone, and for a split second Naruto stood in blackness before his consciousness blinked out. Immediately after the alley attack, Hiruzen Sarutobi sat at the Hokage desk, the office silent as he perused the papers of the recently cleared changes to the ninja forces and academy. Hiruzen sighed and wiped a hand down his weary, wrinkled face. He had worn the hat for too long, much longer than he intended. His chosen successor had met his fate far too early in his life, going out in a blaze of glory that left his name in history more prominent than his face on the Hokage mountain. The fourth Hokage had left more than a few half-baked ideas on the betterment of the village in his wake. The progressive ideas were expressly not meant for the third to retake the hat and implement. Minato had known that Hiruzen's best years were behind him and had only left a desire to see the next generation grow up. One such request was an overhaul of the Ninja Academy. Minato had likely known the difference between the peaceful times coming and the war-torn environment that he himself had graduated in. There was no real need to pump out as many half-cocked ninja as there was in the war, so the decree that was put in place to allow lesser shinobi to graduate could be repealed. Hiruzen knew that this would likely save the village a lot of unnecessary deaths that came with unprepared genin. The only problem was, lesser shinobi were often civilian-born shinobi. Hiruzen had given in to the desires of his civilian council during the Second Great Shinobi War because their proposal both pleased them and gave Hiruzen more ninja to fend off Kumo. The decree lowered the expectation of graduating genin so the less advantaged civilians could make the cut more often. The civilian council had only grown in influence since then and kept the Yandame's wish from coming to completion for several years. In reality, the average of 200 graduates a year could be cut in half, possibly by cutting the semi-monthly graduation exam opportunities and holding them only every 3 months along with increasing standards. It would give the students more time to train and study before leaping into the deadly world of shinobi. Hiruzen would much rather have around 10,000 quality active ninja instead of the weak-link-riddled 15,000 strong the village was now. Excess missions could be sent off to the lesser Fire Country ninja villages who also pumped out a decent number of ninja every year. Nowhere near the quality of Konoha's academy is capable of, but Konoha wasn't the shinobi capital for nothing. The only other request was more for the person in the hat directly, as it was a call for a stronger hand than the third had used in the past. A firm but understanding hand Minato had wanted to use himself. Hiruzen had vowed upon retaking the damned position that he would do his best to make Minato proud in that regard. Suddenly, the door to the office was sent flying off its hinges. The wooden construct was sent end over end quickly until it slammed into the desk and then over his head. The door was followed by his remaining, and visibly furious, student who was hauling 2 severely beaten and bloody bodies with him. Again, Hiruzen sighed and wiped at his face as he prepared for the shitstorm Jiraiya had dragged into his office. "I want them tried and killed, sensei. If it wouldn't cause you more of a headache I'd have done it myself on the way here." Jiraiya snarled as he threw the 2 unconscious Chunin roughly to the floor. "What did they do offend you this time, Jiraiya?" Hiruzen asked with a tired, distinctly old-sounding voice. His years really were starting to catch up with him. "They tried their goddamned best to kill Naruto is what they fucking did," snarled the furious white-haired Sannin. Hiruzen sat up straighter at this and narrowed his eyes slightly. "I found them pinning him to a wall with a kunai buried into his side. Drunkenly calling him a demon and basically asking me to obliterate them. Sensei, I want them tried and killed." Hiruzen no longer had his old man's aura about him. He was once again accompanied by the impression of a powerful kage that had seen him through multiple wars. "Okay. Kill them. I find them guilty. Just be sure to drop off their corpses at torture and interrogation so they can identify them and contact their families." Jiraiya's fire cooled for a fraction of a second in his confusion. "What? So fast? I'm more than happy to, but this isn't like you, sensei." "Jiraiya, they attacked a civilian almost certainly unprovoked with more than intent to disable, broke my law of speaking of the Kyuubi in any terms, which is already punishable by death, and in truth they are lucky that Naruto carries his mother's name, or he'd be within his rights as a member and head of an elite clan to have these Chunin's families stripped of honor. As his guardian, kill them and we will be done with the mess." Jiraiya reached down to the 2 shinobi and lifted each by their neck. With a flare of chakra and an audible crack, the 2 broken-neck ninja were tossed towards the door for a previously hidden Anbu to shunshin away with the bodies. "Sensei, I've made a decision. Naruto and I are leaving." Hiruzen jerked his surprised and worried gaze to the face of his pupil. "What? Jiraiya, don't be rash because of a single incident." Jiraiya slammed a chakra-enhanced, clearly enraged fist into the top of his sensei's desk. "Do not treat this as an isolated incident, sensei. We are both aware of the barely concealed hatred and open isolation Naruto receives." Hiruzen sat back into the chair and looked defeatedly at Jiraiya. "But I will need your help making changes to the village. And you can't expect to keep him safe while running your spy network. The Toad Summoner scoffed. We both know I'd do jack shit in cleaning up this shithole of a village. I'm beginning to see why Tsunade left, and as far as keeping him safe, I'll be temporarily handing off my network to Kakashi. I know he's the ANBU commander, but keeping up with a few extra reports won't kill him, especially since he won't have to watch Naruto for me. You've spent your entire career cultivating that network, yet you'd really prioritize Naruto over it, wouldn't you? Hiruzen asked softly, knowing his cause was already lost. Jiraiya's voice also softened. As would you, sensei. Naruto takes precedence, we both know that. There was a silence as Jiraiya sat in a chair across the Hokage. We'll move between my safe houses for a while, and then I'll take him on as an apprentice. I swear we'll be back for him to take your new graduation and placement exam, okay? Just give us 6 years away from the village, sensei. He needs this. He can't grow up apart from kids his age. He needs to know social skills as much as he needs ninja skills. He sure as hell won't find that here. Fine, I accept. Now, is the little survivor in the hospital, or do we have to crush more skulls to see him? Hiruzen asked lightly to restore the even ground he had stood on with Jiraiya. Naruto's hospital room. Naruto's eyes opened slowly, the bright white of the room making him close them again almost instantly. Steeling himself, Naruto managed to open them fully to see his father Jiraiya speaking to old man Hokage on the far side of the room. Naruto watched them talk for a bit, but eventually, his dad noticed he was awake. The tough little nugget decided to rejoin us, eh? Jiraiya said with an easy smile. The pair of older men made their way towards the hospital bed. Hi Dad, hi old man, Naruto said with a smile. How come I'm wrapped up like this? And can you take away this gross needle? Hiruzen smiled a grandfatherly smile before he spoke up. You don't like needles, Naruto? Naruto shook his head as he poked at the offending metal in his arm. Nah. Needles are creepy. Naruto quickly transitioned to fiddling with the needle to ripping off the bandage on his face. Naruto! Jiraiya scolded as he leaped forward to catch the bandage. Why would you do that? It made my face itchy. Naruto yelled back as he indeed did start to scratch the uncovered skin. Hiruzen laughed aloud and messed Naruto's hair. You really should allow the nurses to do their job with these things, you know. Jiraiya looked between the bandage and Naruto's face while the boy argued with his sensei. There was clearly blood on the cloth, but Naruto's face remained unmarked. Naruto had always healed rather quickly for a child. Scrapes and bruises from playing as young boys do would often disappear overnight. What's more, sprains did nearly the same with not too much longer of a wait. Jiraiya stalked it up to the bastard fox wanting to keep himself alive through Naruto. Ahem, Jiraiya waited for the two to quiet. Naruto, how are you feeling by the way? Sore? Naruto stretched side to side, throwing his arms up like a cat might. Nah, just kinda stiff, you know? Kinda like I slept too long but just in my middle. Jiraiya went over to Naruto and started removing the bandages around his stomach. Jiraiya, you should really allow the nurses to do their job, Sarutobi chuckled as the white-haired man unwrapped Naruto. Oh wow! This feels way better! Naruto yelled as he jumped up on the bed. Naruto yanked out the needle when the drip went taut, much to the displeasure of the two men. Jiraiya didn't stop Naruto from standing so quickly. Instead, he marveled at the smooth, pale skin of Naruto's side. Hiruzen also noticed and spoke out, Naruto, where did you get hurt, my boy? Eh? Naruto grunted as he also examined his side. Oh yeah. Naruto sat back down on the edge of the bed to kick his legs. Some big angry fox guy told me he would help me by giving me chakra to get out of the sewer. Jiraiya and the Hyuga stood in stunned silence. Naruto, did Mr. Fox call himself Kyuubi? Jiraiya asked slowly. Hey, yeah he did. Did he get up too? I need to thank him. Naruto, Hiruzen started, you never have to thank that fox. Yeah, I do, old man. He said that he had helped me heal before too. He's actually pretty nice when you get past his anger. Naruto replied happily. Naruto, we can talk about your new friend later, Jiraiya said calmly, because you and I are going to go on a really nice, long trip. And we have to talk about getting ready. Naruto looked at his dad with a shocked expression on his face. Like a vacation? A nurse slipped in behind Jiraiya to start cleaning up the mess of bandages. Jiraiya moved to the side a bit before saying, kinda, but we're also gonna start your ninja training while we travel. Really? Naruto jumped again and screamed. Yes. I want to be as strong as Mr. Kyuubi and be a better Hokage than the old man. Jiraiya smiled at the child's current dream goal. It had been so for a couple years now, and Jiraiya had to constantly refuse the boy's requests for training. Jiraiya wanted his godson to have as normal a childhood as possible for as long as possible. The nurse made a strangled choking sound and stood quickly. Hiruzen went back into Hokage mode. You will forget you've heard this conversation for the sake of your health. The terrified nurse nodded and ran off with the bandages. When do we get to leave? Naruto asked, now bouncing in place. I'll go pack up while the third here works on getting you checked out of the hospital, and we'll meet at the gate, okay? Jiraiya said as he prepared to leave. Okay, but you had better hurry up. The third bade Naruto try and relax a bit before he left, and left the room before Naruto could see his saddened face. Back again so soon, runt? The QB guttered lowly, already awake in its prison. Huh. I was just trying to relax and sleep. How did I get back here with you, Mr. QB? Naruto asked in a confused tone. PSH. Idiot. Did you enter your mindscape by accident? How the hell do you accidentally meditate? Was the incredulous response that followed. I don't know. Naruto exclaimed as he sat down once more. I was just thinking about you and how come you didn't get to come out with me. There was actually a bit of surprise shown on the QB's face, though he hid it quickly. Why would you ever be thinking about me, oh little flea? The fox asked, his words dripping with sarcasm. I still haven't thanked you for helping me, Naruto responded, seemingly oblivious to the fox's tone. The QB looked at the small boy in near confusion. Humans don't do that. Humans are trash, lacking all respect for those that deserve it. He must be trying to trick me into letting my guard down. Insolent wretch. Also, I wanted to ask you if you teach me to be strong like you, Naruto called up, his voice quieter and noticeably nervous. What? The massive fox had no idea how to respond to such a request. Naturally, the QB resorted to his go-to attitude, your puny body could never handle even an ounce of my teaching. As if I would ever even decide to help you. Naruto didn't take offense to the QB's harsh words, he just accepted the fact that this was how his new friend was. Does that mean if I get bigger and stronger first you'll help me? The fox growled in annoyance. Does it not bother you that I intend to turn your precious village into rubble? Honestly, I am more impressed that you can. Like, you must be super strong. And I mean it can't be the whole village you're mad at. I'll help you find whatever is the real problem since you've already helped me get out of here before. The Ninetales took a hard look at the blonde child and tried to find the deceit hidden within the boy. And what would you require in return for this favor of yours? The distrust was easy to hear. I mean you'd have to wait a while because I'm still small. But I am gonna start training with my dad really soon. And then I can help you like I promised. But I already wanted to repay you so this can part of it. I always help my friends. Believe it. Naruto finished standing tall, a fist extended in exuberance. The fox felt a twinge of what he interpreted as anger. You dare assume I need or want friends? You are pathetic. But Naruto had vanished from the mindscape before QB could finish. Surrounding forests of Konoha. Geez, kid, I've been trying to wake you up for years now, Jiraiya joked to a groggy Naruto. Huh. Oh, sorry, I was accidentally talking with Mr. QB again. He seemed upset. Naruto yawned as he sat upon the head of the toad currently carrying him. Thank you for carrying me. Naruto giggled as he pats the side of his mount's head. Jiraiya looked uncomfortable. Naruto, I'm not sure talking to him is such a good idea. Nah, he's really angry at something, but other than that he's kinda nice. Naruto said offhandedly, still playing with the toad. Naruto, there's a conversation we have to have about your fox friend that I had hoped to put off for a few more years, Jiraiya said. Naruto started paying attention to his father. Actually, it can wait until we stop for the night. Haha, yeah. There's a small town ahead with a decent hotel and hot spring, what do you think? We can go swimming? Alright. Naruto had finished swimming in the hot spring and was now looking for his father. Naruto waited around the large pool of water and noticed a small shift in the leaves of a nearby tree. Moving closer, Naruto did see that it was his father in the tree. Deciding to practice being a ninja as soon as he could, Naruto snuck up the back of the tree. In truth, he wasn't all that quiet. Luckily, his dad seemed to be distracted by something on the far side of the dividing wall. Naruto followed his father's gaze and saw a group of women swimming. Hey Dad, why are we looking at people swim? Sinofa Jiraiya's curse was mercifully cut off by his impact with the hard ground. Oh, Kami, no, not yet. He's too young yet. Oh shit, Kushina is going to literally kill me if she finds out. Dad, you okay? Naruto laughed as he came down from the tree, shaking leaves from his towel. Well, you see, research is hey, how about we go in and talk now? Jiraiya asked in a lame attempt at changing the subject. But we can talk here, right? Naruto asked innocently. Not about everything we need to talk about, Jiraiya thought desperately for a way to placate his godson. It's about your training as a real ninja. Let's go! Naruto screamed as he dragged his father by the wrist, forcing the Sannin to grasp his towel and save his modesty. Ironic considering his favorite pastime. The room the two had booked was fairly spacious. It had 2 beds, a desk, a table, and a few chairs. There was a candle lit on the desk, and the 2 now dressed occupants sat in chairs. Naruto was nearly vibrating in his chair, he was so excited, and his father tried not to shake as well out of nervousness. I want to go first, Dad. Mr. Kyuubi might help me be the best ninja ever if I get stronger first. So I want to start training right now so I can go home and go straight to wearing the old man's hat. Naruto yelled. Jiraiya winced at these words. Naruto, there's a few things I have to tell you about the Kyuubi before you decide to trust anything he says. On the day you were born, Konoha was attacked. Directly attacked by a force no one had ever gone against before. This attack killed many good shinobi, and the one who attacked was the Kyuubi. The 9-tailed fox sealed inside of you. Naruto sat in confused silence for a moment. But I thought the Yondaime killed the fox monster. Isn't that what the village celebrates on my birthday? Naruto, the Kyuubi can't be killed. It is nothing more than a mass of chakra that grew to have a consciousness. It is what we call a biju, and is the strongest of the 9 because it has 9 tails. A biju can only be trapped. A biju that strong can only be trapped in a living container, a living prison. A very, very young one, so its chakra network has time to adapt. Naruto had been silent until this point. You mean me, right? Yes, Naruto. The 4th chose you because, Jiraiya took a painful pause, because he knew you would be strong enough to be the prison of the Kyuubi. In this way, you are the legacy of the 4th. This was all Jiraiya was willing to say about Naruto's true father until he was older and more responsible. The Kyuubi did say he wanted to destroy Konoha, but it wasn't because he hated the village. Naruto protested. He said that I might be able to find the thing he's really angry at so he doesn't have to destroy the village. This news genuinely surprised Jiraiya. Truth or not, Jiraiya never expected to hear this. Well, you have a while before you can even think about that. Being a ninja is no easy thing to do, and you have to put your training first. Yes. I want you to make me the best ninja ever, Dad! Naruto exclaimed with his usual exuberance. Some families start training their children extremely early, like the Hyuga. They do this mostly because they want to develop their Kekkei Genkai as soon as they can. The Uchiha also do this much for the same reason. Most children, though, begin at around, this might be tough, but I'll turn you into a powerful shinobi if you follow what I say. Jiraiya started. Here's the plan then. We'll spend a year making you stronger and faster. Nothing but that and lectures about how to be a real ninja, okay? Jiraiya was met with excited nods. That will leave us 5 years until your 12th birthday, which is when we go back to Konoha. We'll spend a year on taijutsu, a year on ninjutsu, and we can ignore genjutsu since you probably won't have the control to use it to its fullest. The last 2 years will focus on your practical and survival skills and working it all together. I think we'll see how well you take to Fuinjutsu in your downtime. If you're anything like me, you'll be a natural. Jiraiya felt a pang in his heart. Think of Naruto's actual father. Yes, if Naruto had half of Minato's talent mixed with his Uzumaki blood, Jiraiya felt Naruto would surpass him in every way. I'll become the best ninja and Hokage ever, Dad. Believe it. Next came the part that Jiraiya didn't want to have to deal with. Naruto, you should start calling me sensei, okay? Fervent nods were the response. It's also because I'm not your real father. I'm your godfather. Do you find joy in bothering me constantly? Was the greeting Naruto received upon his arrival to his mindscape. He's not really my dad, Naruto mumbled to himself. What was that, you flea? If you must break my peace and speak to me, at least do so properly. The Kyuubi growled. Naruto didn't immediately respond. Right before the Kyuubi could flare his massive amount of chakra to drive away the pest, the boy looked him in the eye. I will spend the next year getting stronger. After that, will you start helping me too? Sensei, explain to me who and what you are. The Kyuubi was surprised at that. You know the truth, yet I feel no hate from you. Why would I hate you? You've only ever helped me. Not because I wanted to. The response was immediate. Listen to me, flea. You are my Jinchuriki. I've thought over our deal, and I have decided that I want a powerful vessel to represent me. I'll be damned if I continue to fade into history. If you can impress me enough by the end of your year of training, I may consider helping you directly. Until then, expect nothing more than me keeping the both of us alive. Understand? Naruto only nodded. I suppose in addition I could start filtering more chakra through your seal. I may as well get your currently worthless body conditioned to my chakra. I expect to see the light of day before too long. Would you be able to talk to me even if I don't come in here? Naruto asked. I suppose I could, but why would that matter? My cell not pleasing enough for you? There was a bit of the usual fire in the fox's tone. No, I just thought you might get bored sometimes. If you want, you could maybe look through my eyes too? Can you do that? I know that some people in Konoha have really awesome eye tricks. There was a powerful growl from the cage. I do not wish to speak of the dojutsu of Konoha. And all you have to do is shake one of my claws in agreement to allowing me to link with your senses. You'll be able to cut me off whenever you wish. The QB tried to sound indifferent, but the opportunity to see the forest again lightened his hatred-filled heart. The two shook. The QB noticed the odd behavior of his prison keeper, and spoke, Go now, Kit. Rest, and then become strong. Hey Ero-sensei, wanna go back to that village with the hot spring today? Naruto asked his godfather and sensei. Ugh, the Sannin groaned in response. You've caught me conducting important research those 3 times, Naruto. How many times do I have to tell you? The pair continued to walk down the path, Naruto carrying both heavy bags with minimal difficulty. The last year had been full of tasks just like this one. Menial labor, chores, and everything his perverted sensei didn't want to do himself. And by God was it working. Naruto didn't quite understand it, but by the time he was done with everything the Toad Sage had asked of him, he honestly struggled with the actual exercises at the end of the day. I don't know, all those women beating you up kept calling you an old pervert. They can't all be wrong, can they? Naruto asked cheekily. Jiraiya grumbled and pushed his student over into the ditch. Hey! What's the big idea? My ramen could have been smashed. Naruto yelled as he dug through his pack to check on his precious sustenance. I just wanted you to sit down while I broke the news to you. Jiraiya laughed as he also took a seat on the ground. Still grumbling and checking over his ramen stash, Naruto replied, You could have just asked, stupid Ero-sensei. With little more than a smack to the back of the head to silence the brat, Jiraiya spoke. You just turned 7 a few days ago, which means that we are going to get you started on learning taijutsu. Heck yeah! Naruto yelled as he jumped up from his seated position. Hey, I wanted you to sit down for this. Jiraiya yelled as he attempted to get his student back under control. We'll work our way towards a very special place to train. It's where I trained for many years in my own youth. I actually still visit quite often. Awesome! So I'm gonna be stronger than you, sensei? Naruto asked excitedly. Oh ho, you're a few decades early to be beating up on me, squirt, was the response. As soon as you can handle more than 4 tails, I'm sure you could take the old one. Naruto heard the QB tell him in his mind. Or stomach. Whatever. Naruto internally agreed with his tenant. Am I going to keep training on the way there? Yes, actually. I'll be amping up your training too, so don't expect any of this to be fun or easy. Jiraiya lectured. We'll also jump ahead a little, since there are a few skills you'll need to get to where we're going. Namely, tree and water walking. Eh? What with walking? Jiraiya sighed as he got up from his seat and calmly walked up the side of a tree. You will also eventually be able to do this on water too. These are just the basics of being a shinobi. That is so cool. Naruto! Jiraiya snapped as he came back to the earth. This isn't like it was before. Before this training, you were only a really fast and strong civilian. Once you start this, there is no going back. You'll be a shinobi in training, and therefore a target to many enemy villages. Naruto's enthusiasm quelled at this, but overall he didn't seem discouraged. Well, just you wait until I'm older. I'll be the ones they have to worry about. Jiraiya did his best not to smile at his exuberant student. Grab our stuff, we're making camp off the side of the road here. Naruto, I didn't tell you this, but I painted a gravity seal on you half a year ago while you were passed out from training. I've kept it relatively low at 1.25 times the usual gravity. I didn't want to risk your growth too much, but now that you're stronger I'm going to crank it up to double gravity. Naruto stood shell-shocked, amazed that something so absolutely and completely awesome was already on him. It will take you a few days to adjust, so I'll give you the jutsu known as the Academy 3 to work on. They're simple, E-rank jutsu so you won't hurt yourself, but with the QB, you should be more than fine. Jiraiya talked as he led his student towards a clearing. I thought jutsu was next year? Naruto asked. The heavy stuff will be, but these light jutsu is what we'll use to gauge your chakra control. It will be extremely difficult for you to control the massive amount you have, so the closer you get to using these jutsu the better your control is. Okay, what 3 do I get to master? Naruto asked excitedly, bouncing in place. Jiraiya showed his student the hand signs for the kawarimi, the simple bunshin, and the henge. The kawarimi is used to switch places with an object or person, and it has to be in your line of sight to do it. The bunshin creates a non-solid clone, it's good for deceptions once you perfect it. And the henge is used to transform yourself, usually into someone else, but you can turn into things like potted plants to blend in during espionage. Naruto had wide eyes at the new knowledge, but the Kyuubi in him had other thoughts. These parlor tricks are hardly worthy of being called jutsu. Hey, I've got to start somewhere, was Naruto's inner response. He knew the fox got the message when he heard the scoff. Now, tomorrow you can start practicing all this, Jiraiya said happily as he grasped Naruto's upper left arm. What? How come I gotta wait for tomorrow? I gotta train now if I'm gonna be the Hawk ACH. The poor blonde was driven into the dirt by an unseen force. Today, focus on setting up your tent and adjusting to the new pressure. Jiraiya laughed as he moved to his own tent, which was pre-made by Kage Bunshin. Naruto took in the exotic-looking landscape with wide eyes and empty lungs. He had adjusted over the last 3 weeks of traveling and light training to the new level of his seal, but he was exhausted. Naruto looked behind him and saw the sheer drop. He had to wall walk for 15 minutes between ledges for the last 3 hours. The last hour had been torture, not to mention the lake he had to cross just to make it to the cliff. He had to admit that the view was worth it, though. He had never seen a place like the one he was currently in. Thinking back over his recent travels, Naruto decided that the old pervert had some great views on training. His sensei had told Naruto that the blonde had too much chakra to easily grasp the finer point of chakra control off the bat. Naruto had no qualms about learning the skill through more effort, and he had chakra to burn on nearly constant practice. After mastering the walking on various surfaces, Naruto paid more attention to his jutsu. He was a quick learner regarding the henge and kawarimi, being particularly adept at the former. Naruto's transformations weren't mere illusions, much to Jiraiya's shock. It made almost no sense, but it was as if Naruto shape-shifted into whatever he transformed into. Jiraiya accounted it to him supercharging it with chakra or Bijou-enhanced chakra, but he mostly ignored it. The bunshin, however, Naruto couldn't make a halfway decent clone to save his life. He had the best results when he tried to spawn upwards of 20, but they still came out missing limbs or dead-looking. Naruto and Jiraiya made their way across the exotic-looking mountaintop. Jiraiya had said something about there being old friends that would take him in, and Naruto was excited, to say the least. Even when he didn't know that Jiraiya wasn't his real father, he didn't meet any of his friends. On the other hand, his sensei's friends were likely just as perverted as the Toad Sage himself. As sensei and student crested a small hill, Naruto saw an older-looking cottage. Naruto wasn't sure what he was expecting, but 2 old, wrinkled toads were not it. Naruto knew that his sensei was able to summon toads, just like the 4th could. These toads, however, weren't much bigger than normal toads. Were they special somehow? Jiraiya boy, called one of the toads. Yep, they can talk. You really know nothing, kid. The fox laughed within Naruto. Those 2 are Fukasaku and Shima, although back when I last saw them they were just starting to get serious about dating. What? Naruto asked. How long ago was that? Oh, it was back before humans started hating me, that's for sure. There was bitterness in his tone. Jiraiya, I see you've brought a guest for supper. You know better than to surprise me like this. Another old toad yelled. Sorry, Ma. I forgot to send a messenger toad ahead. Jiraiya responded apologetically. The perverted sage rubbed the back of his head much like Naruto would, much to the boy's displeasure. That was his signature, damn it. I'll get started on an extra large dinner right away. The elderly toad Jiraiya called Ma stated. Naruto, since we dropped in on them like this, why don't you go help her? Pa and I have some catching up to do anyhow. You got it, sensei. Lead the way, Ma. Naruto shouted as he marched behind the toad. The 2 disappeared into the cottage before long. So, Pa started as the 2 sages sat in the grass. This is the boy you've been telling us about. Yes, Pa, he is. This is Minato's son, Naruto. You didn't need to tell me that. The darn boy looks just like little Minato did. There was a pause. What is he like, Jiraiya? Another pause, but Jiraiya smiled and thought before he broke the silence. Minato and Kushina would have been proud, Pa. I know I sure am. Oh? There was a weary chuckle from the toad. Care to elaborate? Well, he's just as damn loud as Kushina was, that's for sure. The two stopped to laugh for a good minute, reminiscing over times past. He has a good heart in him. A strong one, just like his father's. This few seconds of silence held no laughter or mirth in it. What about the rest of him? Is he strong? Will he be strong? Pa, you have no idea. Jiraiya shifted his legs. He's incredible. If anything, I've held him back, he'll be the strongest any of us have seen. Don't forget, Jiraiya boy, that I have seen a lot more than you. The old toad bellowed in amusement. Still smiling, Pa asked, why in the world would you be holding him back? And how? Don't get me wrong, Pa, he's amazing for a 7-year-old kid. He's tree and water walking, he's got the Academy 3 down except for the Bunshin, and I've got him on a 12-hour double gravity rotation. The elderly toad didn't seem too impressed until Jiraiya brought up the gravity/weight training. I can think of a few ninja even recently who have a more impressive record at his age, but I will admit I am surprised you've got a gravity seal on him at what, 7? A nod in confirmation. I'm taking the gravity slowly, don't worry. It's stuck for probably another year before I'm comfortable bumping it again. Jiraiya rubbed at his face before continuing. Would those other ninja happen to be Kakashi and Itachi? Yes, well. Look at how those ninja turned out, Pa, powerful. Beyond a doubt. But one has defective emotional control issues and the other defected entirely. Pa had no response for his student. I want him to brush his basics up before we get to the heavy-hitting stuff. Why do you want to limit him like that? You know how boys are. They love blowing things up. Always setting firecrackers in my personal stuff, playing pranks on their senseis, setting fire to whatever they can. I think you're the only one with this problem, Jiraiya boy. I've had the problem with every boy I've trained, Jiraiya defended. Now what would happen if you taught that boy how to blow up villages before teaching when to blow up villages? There was a sad smile accompanying the question. You make a good point, my boy. How do you plan to go about this? If he has as much potential as you say, he'll need some pretty strong morals. Pa-sensei, Pa looked directly at Jiraiya. Jiraiya never called him sensei. I want him trained as a toad warrior. There was a long, pregnant silence. Emotions and thoughts flew through the air, and Naruto could be faintly heard yelling from the kitchen. Are you sure, Jiraiya? A human hasn't trained as a toad in a very, very long time. He needs to know when to be disciplined and when to be carefree. I've held back his growth this long because I want him to be capable of a real life. Of making friends. Of eventually making his own family. Yet he needs the strictest discipline regarding his strength. Yes, and I'm talking about his strength alone. That's not even considering the fox. A problem indeed. Doesn't Konoha have an agency you've mentioned that specializes in this? Root? Jiraiya huffed through his nose. That joke of an organization will never lay a finger on Naruto. I'd killed a lot of them before they did. Now, Jiraiya boy. I'm using them as an extreme example, nothing more. The wrinkled toad laughed. Naruto will need a professional face almost as strong as theirs is, but he'll have to be able to put it on and take it off like a smile. That's what I'm counting on. The two continued to speak of lighter things for a while, but eventually, they heard Ma's call for dinner. Jiraiya stood and stretched, preparing himself for what was to come. Training would be a pain in itself, but first, he had to make it through dinner. 1 week after arrival to Mount Myaboku, Naruto sat down to another dinner of bugs. Naruto lasted 2 days before his ramen supply was depleted and another 2 days until his stomach demanded he eat something. At first, Naruto noticed that the taste wasn't too bad. Actually, the bugs tasted fairly decent. The taste, however, wasn't the issue. It was either the crunch of legs or the slimy lack thereof. I don't think I can watch you go through this again. Cut me off, came the inner command. In truth, it was closer to a plea, but Naruto obliged regardless. Naruto cut the link between the fox and his vision, but he left his hearing linked in case of important conversations. Okay, Naruto, you've been working your strength and speed for a week, you're as ready to begin taijutsu training as you'll ever be, Ma said around a spoonful of worms. It's about time. I'm tired of going to bed exhausted without actually fighting anything, Naruto thought in victory. Now we can start actually pushing you, came Pa's amused voice. First, let's see how much you remember of your lectures. Jiraiya spoke next. What are the 3 ways to fight? Naruto racked his brain for only a moment. You can fight to learn, you can fight to subdue, and you can fight. To kill Kit. You fight to kill. That's the only way you should fight. To kill. Naruto felt his eye twitch. I knew that. I just hesitated. Never hesitate. Not to answer a stupid question, and especially not to kill. Else you end up the one that's dead. Good job, my boy. Don't get him excited over something so easy, Pa. He's not an idiot. Ma screamed over the table. Don't lecture me on how to teach, woman, was the heated response. Besides, there's only one idiot here, and it sure ain't Naruto. This, of course, started an argument. Looks like I'm taking over from here, Jiraiya mumbled in annoyance. Okay, Naruto, what are our priorities? Naruto knew this one immediately: family, duty, honor. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow at the quick response. And what do those words mean, Naruto? I will protect those that I care about. I will do my duty as my mission commands. And I will honor. Naruto trailed off on the last part. I will bring honor to my name in both word and action, Jiraiya finished for him. I don't really care about the honor part as long as I manage the first two. I'm sure honor will happen if I'm good at the first ones anyway, Naruto said nonchalantly as he bit into another crunchy beetle. I really hate hearing that, you know. Well, I like these ones the best. And what is our stance on orders? Jiraiya asked his godson. Orders given mean orders completed, Naruto answered hesitantly. But what if my orders put family in danger? Then, Jiraiya looked at Naruto with all the seriousness in the world. You make a choice. You choose between family and duty, and then you hope that honor follows in the wake of your choice. Pray that the choice never has to be made. Naruto gulped with nothing in his mouth as the implications dawned on him. Before long, the two elderly toads stopped bickering to eat in peace. Pa ended the argument with a grumble that was talking about Jiraiya boy anyway. The rest of the meal passed amicably, and soon the table was empty. Before anyone could rise to clean, however, there was a knock at the door before it swung open. A dog-sized toad entered. Naruto, the great elder toad Gamamaru wishes to see you. Gamamaru? The fox's question felt like a shout. Oh ho! What an honor! You better get going, Naruto. Jiraiya gave his student a slap on the shoulder. We'll clean up here, don't worry. Naruto nodded and waved as he left, running after the toad. Jiraiya looked to his two old friends. He's not getting a prophecy, is he? I wouldn't bet on it, no. He's still a bit young. The great elder would let him live out his childhood before dropping a prophecy on him, Ma told him. Jiraiya was then heavily confused on the meaning of the summons. I have brought the boy, great elder, the toad that had fetched Naruto announced upon entry to a large room. The room was large, with a massive vaulted roof with equally massive pillars all around. There were 3 other toads surrounding a hulking, ancient-looking toad. Yes, I am aware that you are in fact a boy, came the quavery response. No, elder, I have brought Naruto for you. Yes, I need to see the boy. Naruto spoke up before things could continue. I'm here. Watch a need, Gramps? The toad that escorted Naruto spun on his heel. You watch your tone. This is the great elder Gamamaru. Naruto, it is so good to see you. Please come closer, child, beckoned the wrinkled massive toad. Naruto stuck his tongue out at the indignant toad escort and walked forward. Hiya! Naruto called out cheerily. Ah, youth. Such a wonderful thing, the elder toad chuckled to himself. We will not be speaking here, child. Suddenly, Naruto was stumbling in the dark confines of his mind. He knew that if he looked up he'd see the familiar bars of the Kyuubi's prison. What Naruto didn't expect, however, was the booming yell and crash. Uncle Gamamaru! The area shook with the volume. Naruto looked up in time to see the Kyuubi slam his head into the bars, the center of his skull in front of a large standing figure. The toad great elder stood, looking much younger now, with his hand extended. The web appendage rested lightly on the Kyuubi's head. It has been a long, long time, Kurama. I have missed you. Can you break me free of this wretched human prison, uncle? Naruto could do nothing but stand and stare in awe. Oh come now, your Jinchuriki isn't so bad, is he? The younger, stronger-looking toad asked with a laugh. All humans are alike, uncle. I know this. You know this. We all came to you after the humans destroyed our homes, and you've said you watched them do it through your ball. My child, you do not burn the orchard to clear a dozen dying trees. Your father and I taught you this many, many years ago. My father is dead, and humans are not trees. My love for the forest and trees no longer extends to humans. The toad looked sad. Weary. My boy Kurama, you have grown to know only hatred. I have been keeping an eye on you, much like your siblings. You've had no one to speak to alleviate your anger since we last met. Not until Naruto here. My hatred makes me strong, uncle. Never before have I been more feared. The fox snarled his response. And never again will you be loved if this continues. Silence. Allow me to help you, my child. I need no man's help. Then it is a good thing I'm a toad. Now get your stubborn ass down here. I swear that all this time hasn't helped your stubbornness. The QB bowed his head once more, and once again the elder toad laid a webbed hand on the furry head. The sage held his other arm out, away from the caged fox. Naruto could see a black liquid-looking substance gather on the fur of the fox and move towards the sage. The dark liquid gathered above the elder toad's outstretched hand and formed a massive orb of swirling darkness. The elder stepped away from the cage and held his other hand aloft. In this hand formed another massive ball, this one a pale green in color, and likely toad oil. The orbs met in a slow yet dazzling display of a yin and yang symbol, the two growing as they intermixed. The conjoined orbs flew skyward, and they were lit aflame by a fire jutsu that was also used by the sage. Am I allowed to ask what's going on? Naruto interrupted the silence that followed the mystical display. You brought the kit with you? The QB asked in confusion. I had to, started the toad. It's his mind we're in after all. So was that a yes to an explanation? Or? Naruto, much of this story will come from your large friend here, Naruto was told. As for me, I have looked after and loved him for many years. I just took away all the hatred he was holding for all this time. I took away the damaging hatred, and now you have to heal him. He was not always hated for merely existing. Okay, but I thought you were super old. Naruto pointed accusingly. There was a long silence, broken by the sage's deep, and annoyingly young, laugh. You learned to mold yourself and your surroundings in a mindscape after centuries of meditation. It's not really that hard, I'm sure you can learn. PSH, I don't have to worry about looking old. Naruto responded. Regardless, my time here is short. I will see you upon your return. The toad elder departed with a final smile and waved towards the fox. Okay, fox. Kurama. Huh. Kurama. It is the name my father gave me, and I would prefer if you used it. Oh. Does this mean we're friends now? A chuckle. Don't go pushing your luck too far now, Kit. It's just my name. Yeah. That your father gave you. You want to talk about that? Naruto felt a bit wary. He heard no malice in Kurama's voice. It was more teasing? Kurama took a deep breath. Well, seeing as it is technically my beginning, it's a good place to start. Naruto sat down for the story. Do you know of the Sage of Six Paths? Yeah, Ero-sensei told me the story all the time as a kid. Why? Because the man is no mere legend. He's also my father. This was met with a very, very long pause. I didn't think you knew how to joke. This is great. Naruto laughed aloud. I make no jokes, Kit. The Sage of Six Paths created all of the 9 bijou from the power divided from the Jubi. The Ten Tails. Wait, what? There's a Ten Tails? Not anymore, weren't you listening? Kurama scoffed. Anyway, we were given life not long before my father's death. I'm sorry, Naruto interrupted quietly. Do not apologize. It is in the past, Kurama responded with the softest tone Naruto had ever heard from him. Still gruff, yes? But it was an improvement. We were given temples scattered throughout the land. Beautiful homes that we lived in, and from them we protected the surrounding area. Humans used to worship and thank us for protecting them. That sounds awesome. What changed? You need to learn to listen to a story better. Stop interrupting me. There was an angry huff. The humans that had learned to harness their chakra started using it for evil. We, the 9 bijou, rose up to oppose them, and we squashed rebellions like flies. Unfortunately, our raw power scared the humans, and their fear led to mobs of people destroying our homes. The temples built for us by our father. With no homes, we wandered. Eventually, the humans started sealing us, and this horrible chain has started. The hatred I harbored for your kind has clouded my memory and decisions, but I am better now thanks to my uncle. Is he really your uncle? He's a toad. Of everything I just said, that's your first question? Naruto looked at the ground guiltily. I mean, I already know that now I have to restore the temples, but I didn't know about your uncle, so I asked. Not by blood. He was my father's best friend Naruto, look at me. Naruto did as he was asked, and he was met with a pair of fierce red eyes. Thank you? If you happen to fail at restoring my temple, the knowledge that you care enough to try means more than you can imagine. What are friends for? Stop pushing the friendship thing. No. The next morning, Naruto sat in the middle of the training field meditating. He had about 10 minutes before his first real day of taijutsu training started, so he wanted to speak with Kurama again. Naruto entered his mindscape once more. He preferred to speak face to face when he could. Back again? I'm out of stories for now, you know. I'm not here for stories, Naruto retorted. I want to hear your thoughts on us learning to fight together. Kurama thought for a minute. When you access my chakra, you will gain claws. Either of chakra or natural claws, you will have them. I suggest you learn a taijutsu style to accommodate them. How much chakra are we talking here? Naruto asked curiously. At the moment I am comfortable giving you 2 taels worth of my chakra. Your body still can't handle any more. I plan on giving you a tael for every year you train, though. You're already planning out my birthday presents? You're such a great friend. Still not happening, Kit. Naruto snapped his fingers. Darn. Go now, you have company. Back in the waking world, Naruto opened his eyes to see Jiraiya, Ma, and Pa walking towards him. Well, Jiraiya was walking. Ma and Pa were hitching rides on Jiraiya's shoulders. Naruto also noticed the scroll they were carrying. Well, Naruto, my boy. Looks like the Great Elder has taken a liking to you, Pa called out when the trio got close enough. When he heard of our plans to train you like a toad, he fetched one of his personal scrolls for us to teach you, Ma continued. Very fitting if you asked me. What is it? Naruto asked them as he stood up. You, Naruto, will be the first in centuries to learn the Fox Fist, Jiraiya told his student with abundant enthusiasm. I think I can guess why, Naruto said while smiling ear to ear. It is convenient indeed. Now, the form is heavily dependent on lightning-fast claws/knife strikes, so you'll need these, Jiraiya lectured as he tossed a pair of weighted gloves at Naruto. There was a pair of audible poofs, and suddenly there were 2 more Jiraiyas. You'll be sparring with these guys as Ma, Pa, and I study the rest of this scroll. I can't spar with Bunshin, I won't be able to. Naruto was cut off by a sharp whack to the back of his head by one of the 2 Bunshin. No, Naruto. We are Kage Bunshin. I can wail on you all I want, one of the clones said cheekily. That's so awesome. Can I learn that one? Naruto yelled in excitement. How about we make it your first jutsu next year? The other clone answered. Naruto, while still unhappy with the compromise, nodded in agreement. Now Naruto, we can finally begin the first phase of your training. Fighting to learn, both clones said in unison. Naruto took a stance as he heard a familiar laugh. My old Fox Fist, eh? Kit, you're in for one hell of a year, I take that back. Naruto took the first hit of many for the day. Kit, you are fucked. Naruto stood with his sensei at the edge of the cliff he had first arrived on. The sheer drop no longer scared him, and he stared down at the lake far below him. Naruto was 10 years old now, halfway to his 11th year. The last 3 years on Mount Myaboku had been tough. Grueling, even. The results, though, Naruto would never complain about. Naruto stood a few inches below Jiraiya's shoulder now, and the 2 stood side by side as Naruto remembered the last 3 years of training. End of Naruto's taijutsu training. Naruto ducked under a straight kick from a clone of his sensei and twisted into a spinning heel kick aimed at the clone's head. The kick was blocked, and Naruto slashed at the clone's middle with a kunai in hand. Naruto, fight to subdue, came Jiraiya's order. There was an immediate change in Naruto. His movements became more violent and direct. Naruto rolled under a chakra-powered kick and came up slicing at the hamstring of the clone. The clone jumped off its stationary leg and flipped behind the still crouched Naruto. Naruto stood, turned, and saw the wide swing coming at him. The kunai in his hand moved across his body to stop the wild punch. The blade slipped between the bones in the clone's arm, and it popped out of existence. Naruto, staying true to his training, moved flawlessly into a spin that would have snapped the arm at the elbow. One more time. Fight to kill, was his order as yet another clone came into existence. Naruto had gone through the various orders for several hours, and he was starting to feel gassed. Naruto stood facing the clone, his kunai at the ready and thinking through the quick kill that had to follow. Use my chakra kit. You are still allowed 3 times today. 1 tail should suffice. Naruto's only response was to quickly form the cloak while jumping away from the attacking clone. His whiskers grew thicker, his eyes became more fox-like, and his nails morphed themselves into claws. Lastly, a bubbling red cloak of chakra enveloped him, adding a tail and even longer claws made out of pure, burning chakra. Naruto no longer felt the effect of the 2.5x gravity seal. Naruto threw the kunai at blinding speeds towards the heart of the clone. The clone turned and narrowly avoided the projectile, as Naruto knew it would. Even though his sensei gave the clones hardly any power, they retained little less than Jonin-level reflexes. According to Jiraiya at least. Naruto blurred behind the clone in an instant, his right clawed hand making its way into the back of his opponent. His left hand curved its claws into where the head would have been had it not popped from the initial hit. Thank you, Kurama, Naruto thought to his still reluctant friend. Meh. You're getting better. That's enough, Naruto. You're getting better, Jiraiya said as he plopped a hand on his godson's shoulder. It means more coming from me, trust me. Naruto laughed to himself. Thank you, pervy sage. At least call me sensei when we're training, Jiraiya griped. Anyways, Ma-Pa, and I have decided that you should be set on taijutsu for now. You're getting pretty good, Naruto. Really? So I can learn jutsu now? Naruto jumped up and yelled. After lunch, okay? Jiraiya attempted to placate the excited blonde. I get to learn Kage Bunshin first, right? You promised. Yes, you do. How about a lecture on it while we wait for the lunch bell? Naruto let loose a long, exasperated groan. I hate lectures. You'll like this one, I'll explain the uses of Kage Bunshin. Lecture away, you old perv. Shaking his head again, Jiraiya sat down with his student and started. The Kage Bunshin is a Jonin-level technique because of how much chakra it uses. Without concentrating on the specific chakra distribution, a single clone you make will have half your chakra. 3 clones would each get a quarter of your chakra and you'd keep the last quarter for yourself and so on. I got most of that, actually. What if it's different for me because of Kurama's chakra like the henge? Naruto asked. You're better off asking him about that, I have no idea. Kurama? Did you hear my question? Unfortunately. I'm trying to sleep in here, you know. And I have no idea, but don't worry about getting too exhausted with this jutsu. You've got enough chakra for several hundred clones yourself, and with me helping you I can't even guess how high the count goes. Kurama grumbled. Kurama says I won't have to worry about getting tired, even if he isn't helping me, Naruto told his sensei. He also said let him sleep. He then cut off the link to his hearing. Well, that's reassuring at least. Anyways, there are a lot of uses for shadow clones, Jiraiya continued. As you've seen, they can be used to teach, spar, or help you out in a fight. The other, more important detail though, you get their memories when they disperse. What? No way, that's so cool. Yup, that makes them perfect for spying and scouting too. You can send a few into a base and have the place memorized in half an hour. I can also make them listen to lectures for me. Jiraiya smacked his blonde student on the top of his head. They aren't for slacking off, Naruto. Oh. I meant like 2 at a time. Or they listen while I spar. They could do a bunch of learning for me while I train, you know. Naruto defended himself vehemently. Jiraiya froze and thought, ideas hatching in his mind and running wild. That, my blonde little twerp, is not a bad idea at all. Suddenly the two heard the lunch bell start ringing. The two started towards the cottage, now both used to the bug diet. Naruto halted his sensei, though, and pointed an accusing finger at the old man. I bet you've used Kage Bunshin to help in your research, haven't you, pervy sage? Naruto then took off laughing for lunch as his sensei lay in the dirt with a case of severe blood loss erupting from his nose. The end of Naruto's ninjutsu training. That's enough, Naruto boy. Give me your lightest great breakthrough to clean our little patch of trees of debris and come sit with me, Pa instructed as Naruto bent at the waist breathing heavily. Naruto also happened to be standing stuck to the side of a large tree, the same way he had done almost all of his ninjutsu training. Naruto did so and joined the old toad. Can I drop the leaves now? Yes, you may. 2 leaves dropped from the surface of Naruto's headband, 1 more from the back of his head, and 4 from the back of each of his arms. After the first month of training, Naruto had been told to add a leaf after each month to increase his chakra control. Naruto let out a sigh of relief for the break. I think that does it for your ninjutsu training, Fukasaku stated. Yes, sensei, was Naruto's response. Naruto had learned that during training there was little room for jokes, but his free time was his to do with as he pleased. He wasn't too sure what this counted as, though. Now, Naruto, do you know why I only taught you so many jutsu? Pa asked slowly. Something about me mastering a few instead of half-assing a bunch? Was the hesitant response. The old toad chuckled. Something along those lines, yes. Now, since today is the last that you'll focus on ninjutsu, I want you to list me the ones you know and show me the hand signs you've cut them down to. Naruto worked every jutsu he was assigned until he didn't need every hand sign to use them. He was told that hand signs were just signals that showed your chakra what the brain wanted from an order. Eventually, you didn't need all the signs and the chakra just remembered the correct path. Great breakthrough. I don't have enough control to downsize it into just a breakthrough. 2 of the 3 required signs, Naruto flashed through the seals as he spoke. Swamp of the Underworld. I've cut it down to a single seal. Shadow clones, 1 single-handed seal. That one's your favorite, isn't it? Pa asked while smiling knowingly. Speaking of, the one studying Fuinjutsu with Ero-sensei just popped. He says we have 10 minutes before dinner is ready. Hurry up with your list then, Ma will kill us if we're late again, Fukasaku urged. Alright. Shuriken Shadow Clone, I just learned that one and haven't cut any out yet. I know both the double suicide decapitation and the hiding like a mole techniques. I can perform air bullets myself, and with Kurama's help I can make small drilling air bullets. Good. Don't be satisfied until you can perform them all, seal less, understand? I believe you are close with your shadow clones. Now let's get moving. Pa then hopped to Naruto's shoulder as the boy took off towards the house. Will I be increasing my gravity seal to 3x soon? Naruto asked as he walked. Quite soon, I believe. Although for the next 2 days, you will focus on meditating with the Great Toad Elder and Kurama while Jiraiya runs an errand. It's about time I got to speak with Uncle Gamamaru again. Kurama will enjoy that, Naruto noted aloud as the house came into view. What's the errand? Jiraiya has to fetch us something to further your training. Your time with us grows short, Naruto. Your last year or so here will focus on preparing your mind for the life of a shinobi. Your body is ready enough to be a genin at the very least. 2 days later. Okay, Naruto, I brought back someone for you to meet, Jiraiya exclaimed as Naruto, Ma, and Pa walked into the training area. I have to meet someone to continue my training? Not quite, dear, Ma answered as she joined Pa near a tree. I would like to introduce you to Fujita, Jiraiya called out and gestured to a wide oak tree. From behind the tree stepped a dirty man, a bruise mixed in with the dirt of his face. This is him? Your student I have to beat for my freedom? The man smirked. Our good friend here used to be part of a bandit group. Unfortunately for him, that group met me, Jiraiya crossed his arms. I pulled him off the young girl he was raping. Luckily, he had already killed her parents, so they didn't have to watch from their spot. Their spot on the dinner table next to him. Naruto's eyes narrowed and seemed to fill with fiery hatred. The air stilled, the birds stopped their songs, and Jiraiya spat on the feet on the disgusting man. Naruto didn't know it, but he was unconsciously leaking his killing intent. Jiraiya took note and made plans to teach that skill during the next year as well. I told him that I had already killed or captured the rest of his group, and all he had to do for his freedom was defeat my student. You, Naruto, Jiraiya turned to his pupil. This is your final test to see if you're ready for the last year of your ninja training. A bandit? Can he use chakra? Naruto asked incredulously, his furious gaze never leaving the still smirking man. I don't need anything more than my hands and a knife to take you out, brat, Fujita foolishly exclaimed. The simple bandit assumed that the bloodlust he was feeling came from the white-haired ninja that took out his whole gang and prepared to butcher the blonde child. Fine, Naruto responded as he drew a single kunai and took an offensive fox fist stance. Orders, Jiraiya-sensei? Jiraiya knew that Naruto had slipped into his business mode. This kind of respect only emerged when the boy was serious about something. Usually training. Leave Kurama out of it, you have to do this on your own. No ninjutsu, you fight with your hands. Understood, sensei. You're making this too easy, old man. I'm not complaining, but that's a lot of handicaps for some kid. Naruto's bloodlust leaked out even more, the killing intent being the only noticeable response to the man's words. Jiraiya silently praised his student on the reserved reaction. He would learn to control the ki soon enough. In that case, Naruto, fight to kill. Begin. This time Jiraiya noticed the almost imperceptible response. Naruto gripped his kunai tight enough to whiten his knuckles, too tightly for what his style called for. Understood, sensei. Naruto was not prepared for the order. He had expected to subdue the man at the most since there was no real reason to kill him. The man made a clumsy swing with the knife provided for him, and Naruto ducked but made no move to counter. What are you doing? Strike him down, Kurama called from within Naruto. Another wild swing came in for Naruto's head, and Naruto defaulted to a basic maneuver while his brain fought to come to terms with killing the man. Naruto's kunai slipped between the bones in Fujita's arm, and Naruto spun sharply using his free arm to snap the bandit's elbow. Naruto lost the grip on his kunai, but the man fell to his knees in pain. Naruto knew he was subdued, but those weren't his orders. Naruto had to kill this man. Do not hesitate to kill. Kill this criminal and become a man, Naruto. Become a shinobi. Naruto dashed forward and grasped the sobbing man's head in both hands. With a sudden, violent twist, Naruto went from looking at the man's bald spot to watching the life bleed out of his eyes. Naruto let Fujita the bandit slump over onto his side. Lips trembling, Naruto pulled his kunai free, cleaned it on the dead man's shirt as he was told to do in lectures, and returned it to his pouch. Naruto turned to look to his three teachers, stealing his voice, his face, and his heart. Objective complete, sensei. Jiraiya stood motionless for a moment, his face hard. You missed 2 opportunities to kill him with a counter. You could have ended the fight with a clean, silent kill before he struck out the first time. The resulting noise from your fight may have alerted your enemy, dooming you and your team. Your first counter was also designed to subdue, not to kill. That was sloppy execution of your orders. Naruto nodded shakily before managing a broken, "Why yes, sensei." However, you are unharmed and your target is dead. Mission complete, Naruto. Then Jiraiya allowed his face to show his sympathy. Yes, sensei, Naruto spit out once more, not breaking from his professional stance. The mission is over, Naruto. Take the mask off. Now. Fukasaku ordered, breaking to see the boy he had grown to care for hurting like he was. Naruto let out a single sob as he fell to his knees, faced away from his first kill and his teachers. Ma and Pa gave Jiraiya a look before summoning a larger toad to dispose of the body. The 2 old sages then took their leave, leaving sensei and student. Jiraiya moved to Naruto's front, pulling his godson's tear-stained face into his chest. I'm here, Naruto. Sensei, Naruto started between sobs. No, Naruto. You don't need the man who became your sense. Right now, I am the man who called you my son for 6 years. Right now you need a father and I am here, Naruto. Another loud, broken sob. Jiraiya felt his own heart break with it. I just dad. Naruto spent the next several minutes crying on his father's chest and shoulder. Eventually, the tears stopped, and Naruto merely sat in the embrace of someone who genuinely loved him. I'm okay now, sensei. Jiraiya had to admit that he didn't like being called sensei as much anymore. You did well, Naruto. I am so very proud of you. Silence. Do you know why young toads have to make their first kills before they are considered real warriors? Jiraiya asked, now sitting back to back with Naruto. So they don't break down like I just did in the field? Naruto responded slowly, wiping his nose on his orange sleeve. That too, I guess. But the main reason is for understanding. Knowledge. The Sannin told him. A ninja follows his orders. Whether those orders are to save a life or to take one. And what do you believe you just did here? I took a life. I took a life when I could have captured and imprisoned him. No, Naruto. That man was cruel. Guilty, and headed for execution anyway. You have saved many lives today. Do you remember what I found him doing? A grunt was the only affirmation Jiraiya received. He would have done that very same thing countless more times if no one stopped him. You saved people from that fate. Still, Naruto remained quiet. I know you have a good heart, Naruto. A heart that hates taking lives. Just remember that if taking a guilty life saves both time and, more importantly, innocence, take the life. How will I know if the person is guilty? Naruto asked. For now, you'll only follow orders. Until you learn to judge for yourself, I only want you to follow the orders of your superiors, okay? Naruto grunted again. Jiraiya stood. Take the rest of the day off. Tomorrow we'll start combining everything you've learned and maybe picking up a few more key skills. And we'll work on your stealth. Tomorrow morning remind to bump your gravity to 3x and we'll start your last year on the mountain. Naruto agreed and laid down in the middle of the training area. When Naruto was alone, Kurama decided to speak up. You will be strong one day, Kit. You have earned my respect. Thanks, Kurama, but I don't really feel like talking right now. Well, I do, so tough shit. Spill your guts to me, Kit. I'm feeling nice today. Why do I feel like a monster, Kurama? There was a deep laugh from the fox. Naruto, if every killer was a monster, every shinobi village would be a fearsome version of hell. Exactly what makes me different than people like Vegeta? People who kill, I just kill for someone other than myself. The old me would have encouraged you to only kill for yourself. Old you was a jerk. I'm not the nicest now, either. Regardless, there is a difference between killing and murder, Kit. Explain? You can save future victims from murder by killing the guilty party. You can kill to save, but you can only murder to satisfy. I have killed many murderous humans when I still protected this land. Well, with me you'll still protect people. That's what I plan to do. As Hokage, I'll protect everyone I can. I truly admire your fire, Kit. Just remember that even as Hokage, you will have to become a killer to stop the murderers. Thank you, Kurama. I feel a bit better. Good. I do not have many friends, and I hate seeing the few I do have upset. And Naruto smiled. Present day, MT Mayaboka's edge. Naruto remembered all the good and bad times he'd had here as he took the first step towards the wilderness below and beyond the mountain that had been his home for 3 years. The last year had yielded Naruto with a few more tricks and the few inches that brought him closer to his sensei's shoulder. The high-protein diet of bugs must have been good for something after all. Naruto had achieved greater mastery over his Kage Bunshin. He could create clone seal-less if he had to, but he still preferred the half-ram seal. Naruto could use hundreds at a time to train. Here's the plan, Naruto. We will spend half a year making our way home. Towards Konoha. Are we really that far away, pervy sage? Or do you want to stop off at a few hot springs and… It's for your training, okay? Jiraiya interrupted quickly. And if I decide to conduct some research, I'll do so privately, thank you very much. Sure, whatever you say, you old perv. Naruto laughed as the pair reached the start of the lake. Say, looks like you didn't have to stop this around, eh? Jiraiya mentioned. I'd be embarrassed if I did. Hell, at this point I'd be embarrassed if you did. Naruto gave a small smile in acknowledgement to Kurama's version of a joke. What type of training will I be receiving, sensei? Naruto asked after a bit of walking over the lake. I want you to finish mastering the Rasengan. I know you can manage it with clones, but don't consider it mastered until you can get one in each hand with little more than a thought. Alright, sensei. Also, while we travel, I want you constantly working on chakra control. It's still your worst attribute, you know, the white-haired hermit poked fun at his student. Who can blame me? I've got more chakra than even you do now, plus the QB in me. Naruto jabbed back. It has been a sore point lately on who had the most chakra now, along with the difficulty Naruto had controlling it. Anyway, Jiraiya tried to get back on track. I want you to travel with a kunai chakra balanced on each shoulder. Eventually I want them spinning, got it? Naruto nodded silently, already thinking about the difficulty of this new challenge. That had to be a Jonin exercise, right? Damn, he was getting good. Don't get a big head, Kit. You can still only use 4 tails of my chakra. I'll get to 5 before too long, just you wait. We'll also exterminate any bandits and bandit camps we come across. I know you hate to do it, but I need you to become more accustomed to taking lives. Naruto walked in silence for a bit, the shore getting closer by the step. It is for the best, Kit. It will make you strong and save innocents at the same time. You don't need to remind me, I just dislike the thought. Part of me knows that you're talking to the fox right now, right? Probably about not liking the idea of killing people? Jiraiya asked. It was true, of course, but Naruto had killed 3 more times since his first. It had been easier every time, but it always left a sour taste in his mouth, especially after he dropped his mission mask. Jiraiya didn't wait for a response. It's good that you dislike killing. I never want you to feel joy or satisfaction from killing. You only kill out of necessity, never in order to satisfy yourself. I know, pervy sage. Naruto then asked Kurama, didn't you say something like that after my first kill? Probably. I learned my philosophy from Uncle Gamamaru. He taught Fukasaku and Shima, who then taught your master. It only makes sense. Well, it's a long road home, might as well get moving. Naruto yelled as he took to the trees. Oh Naruto, didn't I tell you the worst of your suffering starts when we get back? Naruto slipped on the next branch he hit, stumbling to regain his balance. Yes, you will have to go through a semester at the academy. Wahaha. For miles around, Naruto's scream could be heard. The large, red gates of Konoha greeted both sensei and student. Naruto had shed his orange jumpsuit in the heat in favor of a light orange, tight t-shirt. The baggy dark pants had a single orange stripe down the side, in order to stay true to Naruto's favored color scheme. All of his supplies had been sealed into storage scrolls of his own making, so Naruto traveled light. These gates always make me feel at home, Jiraiya stretched as he approached the check-in booth. Kotetsu. Are you asleep? Lord Jiraiya. Came a voice from the booth. Bah, drop that lord stuff, who do you think I am, Izumi? The Sannin laughed as he leaned on the windowsill. Where's your lazy partner? Kotetsu is running a few errands for Lord Third at the encryption division, I believe. He's not smart enough to decode a cereal box crossword. What's he doing there? Jiraiya asked in feigned disbelief. The man Naruto now knew was named Izumi let out a loud bark of a laugh. He's just grabbing papers. Phew, that was a good one. You should put that in a book. I'll think about it. Anyway, Naruto and I will head in now. Gotta go see how my old sensei is holding up, you know? And Jiraiya led Naruto into the village. Naruto? Hokage's office. Old man! Naruto yelled as he burst into the Hokage's office. I'm either dreaming or Kurenai got drunk and is slinging genjutsu again. Naruto, is that really you? Hiruzen laughed as he embraced the child. It's been a while, sensei, Jiraiya walked in smiling. Oh, I finally got my boys back, the old Hokage mumbled, clasping Jiraiya's shoulder over Naruto's head. Well, how did it go? Did you get stronger, Naruto? I'll be wearing your hat in no time, old man, Naruto yelled as he jumped back. The two adults laughed before talking about the small things they each missed. Naruto butted in where he could, but as soon as the talk shifted to his enrollment to the academy, Naruto balked. No getting out of it, I'm afraid, Hiruzen grumbled. All of my genin have to attend at least a semester before attempting the graduation exam. On the bright side, you only have to wait for 3 months. 3 months? And then I can become a chunin? Naruto asked hopefully. The two men laughed long and loud at the boy. Jiraiya spoke up first. Why don't you head on back to the apartment, Naruto? Make sure everything is where it should be. Then get ready for your first day tomorrow. Naruto groaned as he left. Jiraiya chuckled again before turning to his own sensei. He wasn't kidding, you know. He could definitely pass the chunin exam. Oh really? What makes you say that? The third asked with a small smile. He knew from experience how much a sensei could overestimate a student's abilities. He's got a pair of earth and wind release jutsu mastered, the shadow clones and your shuriken variation, a supporting technique or two, his Rasengan is battle-tested and ready, deep schooling in the ancient shinobi ways, a good grip on Fuinjutsu, and around 24 kills under his belt. All bandits but 2, a pair of Nukenin genin I let him take after I finished their chunin leader. Jiraiya listed as if reading from a script. In truth, the Sannin rehearsed his speech to impress his sensei. You trained him as a shinobi of the old way, didn't you? As a toad warrior, so yes. But he's so young, Jiraiya. And so powerful, sensei. I had to make sure he had a grasp on what his power is and when to use it. For all of us. There was silence as the two men sat in thought. Is he a good person, Jiraiya? Hiruzen asked quietly. One of the best I've ever known. Definitely the best I've trained. Minato would be proud, sensei. Then that is all I could ask of you. You've done an amazing job, Jiraiya. As a sensei and as a father. Jiraiya smiled sadly at the ground. You were right, you know. I definitely prefer being a father to being a sensei. And my pride for him did end up surpassing any annoyance he caused. It did years ago, actually. The two men looked at each other and smiled, memories seeming to surface like hungry fish. What's your plan placement-wise now that you know about his skill? Hiruzen took a deep puff of his pipe. Well, I still want him on a genin team. I want him to go through the whole process, slightly so he doesn't feel like he cheated. A short laugh from Jiraiya. Yup, he'd be honorable enough to feel that way, believe me. I think I want to make him the focal point of a strike team. There are another few promising students that plan to take this next exam I could pair him with. And I think I'll put him under Kakashi since you can take your spy network back. Ugh, I forgot about that. Probably no chance I could get him to keep it, Jiraiya asked hopefully. Nope. A large, shit-eating grin adorned the Hokage's face. He absolutely hates it. Fine. Might as well go break the good news to him. I'll keep your team assignment plans to myself though, don't worry. Jiraiya turned to leave. Thank you, Jiraiya, was the third's response. And Jiraiya? The white-haired man turned, it's good to have you home. Naruto had one stop to make before he went back to his old apartment. He weaved through the crowds of shopping people, the masses oblivious as to who he was. Many of the civilians walking around had children with them. All varying in age, but all also happy with their parents. Naruto shook his head to ward off any darker thoughts. Do not concern yourself with them, Kit. You have already become more than they could ever hope to be. Ah yes, that makes me feel so much better. Thank you, Kurama. Naruto thought back sarcastically. The road and alleys felt so familiar, as if Naruto had never left. Every turn was the same, every nook and cranny he used to hide from his uncle. Kakashi always did manage to find him, though. Probably cheated. Naruto knew now that Kakashi probably cheated. Somehow. Before long, Naruto was there. The alley where his life changed. Where his life could have ended. He took in the innocent-looking surrounding, trying its best to appear as if nothing had ever happened at all. Naruto took note of the dumpster near the entrance. It was the last place he had seen his animal companion. Dark thoughts of vengeance threatened Naruto, but he knew that the two ninja were likely already dead. You know, Kit, this is technically where we first met. I didn't take you for such a romantic. A smile brought Naruto out of his own head. Shut up, you old flea bag. Talking to yourself, Naruto? The voice came from behind the blonde. It's better than talking to you, Naruto continued smiling as he turned around. Kakashi stood at the entrance of the alleyway, orange book in hand, his mask and headband leaving only a single eye visible. Naruto knew he was smiling behind that dark blue mask. His uncle's trademark eye smile gave him away every time. It's good to see you again, brat, the masked man said as he ruffled his nephew's hair. How'd you even know I was back? The two started down the alley towards the old apartment Naruto stayed in with Jiraiya. I'm a ninja, what did you expect? You know that excuse won't work when I'm giving you orders as Hokage, right? The foxy grin that accompanied the question made the older man chuckle. You must think you've gotten pretty strong to be talking like that. Stronger than you, I bet. All I've ever seen you do is read and get yelled at by girls. Naruto accused. Men with enough skill usually don't need it. Their reputation wins battles for them, Kakashi winked his only visible eye. You read that stuff in your book? Naruto asked skeptically. His uncle was never that wise-sounding before he left. What are you reading anyway? Oh, nothing of any importance, I assure you. Kakashi tucked the orange book away as the apartment complex came into view. Let's head in, okay? Naruto was suspicious of how defensive his uncle came across about his book, but he complied anyway. Everything was just the way Naruto remembered it. The small kitchenette still had a deserted look to it, and the living room still consisted of a beat-up couch and old chair. The whole place seemed like it had been cleaned recently, likely Kakashi's doing. Naruto dropped his bag near the door and belly flopped onto his couch. Oh, how I've missed you! Kakashi sat in the old chair across Naruto and cleared his throat. Well, Naruto, how about you tell me what I've missed? Naruto sat up excitedly and began his story. You wouldn't believe how strong Ero-sensei is. I used spar one of his shadow clones and he still kicked my butt. I only started to spar the real him the last couple of years. Oh no, I know how strong your sensei is, I'm impressed you can spar with him. No doubt Jiraiya was still holding back quite a bit, but Kakashi still allowed himself to be impressed. Yeah, I'm pretty good, I'd say. Naruto waved his hand in blatantly fake arrogance. Anyways, I was taught how to fight 3 different ways. I've got a pretty good handle on a handful of jutsu. I'm making my own storage seals and explosive tags and stuff. The toads are letting me summon them now, and I'm really good at throwing kunai and shuriken. You need to learn how to tell a proper story, Kakashi laughed as his eye twitched. If even half of that is true, then the kids at the academy are dead meat. How the hell was Naruto going to last 3 months without killing anyone by accident? Hey, I think I did pretty good. No, you rambled on for almost all of that. Naruto spoke aloud. Actually, I guess Kurama agrees with you. Kurama? Kakashi asked, his eyebrow rising underneath the headband. Oh, Kurama, this is my uncle Kakashi, but you probably knew that. Kakashi, this, Naruto pointed at his stomach, is Kurama. I guess you might know him as the QB. Kakashi sat in stunned silence. Hello, Kakashi. He says hi. Kakashi managed a wave. We should probably talk about the next couple of months. Naruto groaned and flopped back onto the couch. I know, I have to go to the stupid academy for a whole 3 months. True, but I'm taking the top 3 students that will fit into an assault and defense team. 2 heavy hitters and a mezzanine. Kakashi told the blonde, dropping heavy hints as he did so. So I'll be on your team, Naruto said excitedly. Confident are we? The masked Jonin laughed. I should probably tell you how things work now, there have been a few changes over the years. Hit me, maybe I'll even remember. Kakashi shook his head before he started. Kids who graduate are automatically genin. There are now 3 types of genin: pool genin, team genin, and support genin. Pool genin are only allowed to take D-rank missions unless they form their own team with a chunin to lead them. There is a section in the mission office for D-ranks where genin can go. So I could be a lone wolf from the very start? Naruto asked quickly. Yes, but it would be very difficult to take the chunin exams without an assigned team. Team genin are genin who are expected to become elite ninja. Either they are gifted individuals or the team they are assigned is extremely effective. Can I just get a field promotion for chunin? Naruto asked. Technically, yes. But the chunin exams are an opportunity for a village to show off, so field promotions are pretty rare outside of wartime. If you really wanted to be a lone wolf, you could ask to be a support genin. You would get tacked on to any team that the Hokage decided needed the backup. The benefit of this is that come time for the exams you can fill in for a team that has a member that doesn't feel confident in taking the exam, or you can orchestrate your own team you pick from the genin pool. Kakashi finished his explanation with a heavy sigh. That's a lot of information to take in. I'll just be awesome and be on your team or something. I'll remember either way. Don't worry about it, Kit. Okay, thanks Kurama. The door opened, and a familiar white head of hair walked in. I missed this piece of shit apartment. Hello, sensei. Jiraiya. The toad hermit froze and looked at the pair in his living room. His eyes focused on Naruto as he recalled his expletive. Jiraiya tried quite hard to avoid swearing in front of his godson, mostly out of respect for what Kushina would have done to him. Ha! Naruto, let's get you ready for class tomorrow. The next day, Naruto sat in the hallway outside of the classroom. Iruka-sensei would come out and instruct Naruto to step in to be introduced. Naruto sat in boredom, chin on his hand, and debated on leaving a shadow clone in his place. Naruto? You can come in now. Naruto walked in and stood at the front of the class. All eyes were on him, the room was silent, and Naruto knew he was already being judged. Okay, class. This is Naruto Uzumaki, and he'll be with us for the last 3 months before you all take the graduation exam. Here was an uproar of general disapproval. Why doesn't he have to sit through 5 years of these dumb classes? That's not fair. He won't even know how in 3 months. He looks like a jackass. That one came from an Inuzuka in the 3rd row. Iruka tried to calm the class, eventually resorting to a strange jutsu to make his head massive. Silence. The room quieted. Now, how about we let Naruto introduce himself? Naruto felt the attention shift to him. Hi. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I've spent the last 6 years training under my adoptive father, and I'm pretty much already a ninja. The class groaned. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the skeptical crowd. In fact, I don't feel comfortable sparring with anyone here. None of the ways I've been taught to fight is safe enough for any of you. The class laughed out loud at this. Naruto, I have to have you fight at least once before the graduation exam, Iruka-sensei mentioned as the class quieted down. When's the first taijutsu session? Naruto asked as he looked around the room. We have one today actually. Right after the first lecture and before lunch. Perfect. I'll fight the class top fighter first to prove my point. Who would that be? Naruto asked in general. That would be me and Akamaru. The Inuzuka boy from earlier shouted as he stood up. There was a puppy in his hood that barked too. No way. Sasuke is way better than you. A pink-haired girl screeched. She was sitting next to a gloomy-looking boy. Yeah, Sasuke's the best at everything. Came another high-pitched yell. This time it was a familiar-looking blonde next to this Sasuke. Sakura? I guess they would have a bunch of friends. They seemed really nice way back when. I guess it only makes sense that they'd be popular. Now. Let's not get carried away. Iruka stopped the growing noise before it got out of hand. Naruto, why don't you find a seat? We'll get started on the day's lesson and then head out to the field. Naruto walked up the stairs to get to the back. He planned on sleeping as much as he could in order to get the 3 months over with. Faces passed him as he walked, but as soon as Naruto got to the back, his eyes froze. There was a face he remembered quite well. Hinata? The blonde asked in wonder. Eep. The shy Hyuga hid her blushing face as Naruto slipped in next to her. Hinata! Long time no see. What are the odds of being in the same class, huh? Naruto smiled as he talked to the strangely blushing girl. Iruka quickly shushed the excited blonde boy, and the lesson started for the day. Naruto spent the class switching between making faces to his quietly giggling friend and trying to avoid smashing his head into the table out of sheer boredom. No part of the current lecture, the political history between the 5 great villages, interested Naruto. In truth, there were only a handful of people actively paying attention. Should I be quiet so you can focus? Or do you care as little as I do? Naruto whispered to Hinata. And my father has already told me to memorize all of this, was her timid response. She still struggled to make eye contact with Naruto, but she could at least hold a conversation. How much longer until we go outside? Naruto's voice was almost a whine at this point. Hinata giggled again. We still have over an hour. Naruto couldn't resist. His forehead made an audible thump as it met the wooden tabletop. Outside at the playground/training area. Naruto was the first one outside. It took a lot of willpower to refrain from using Shunshin to escape the classroom. The first person out behind him was the Inuzuka boy, who Naruto was fairly certain was named Kiba. Naruto took up a spot in the sparring ring and waited for the rest of the class. Eventually, everyone caught up and took position on one side of the ring. Iruka looked at Naruto skeptically, unsure if it was a good idea to allow him to go first. And he wanted to fight Sasuke of all people. Naruto, are you sure you want to go first? Maybe you could watch a few and see how it works? The concerned teacher asked. Naruto snorted in amusement, the sound almost a full laugh. Please, Iruka-sensei. Just give me your best and I'll follow my sensei's order and only spar. This should be the only time I have to fight. I'll shut him up, Iruka-sensei. Sasuke smirked and stepped into the ring. Several squeals could be heard from the more feminine portion of the onlookers. Get him, Sasuke. Wipe the floor with him, Sasuke. Sasuke, I love you. Everyone paused and looked around for the source of that particular outburst. Odd. Iruka had more than a few misgivings about the match, but couldn't find a good enough reason to deny the boys what they wanted. Okay. This will be taijutsu only, winner by submission, knockout, or ring out. Understood? Yes, both boys responded. You may begin. Naruto didn't even bother to get into one of his stances. He was tempted to wake Kurama for the show, but he didn't expect it to be all that entertaining. Sasuke took an offensive stance and spoke out, How can you challenge me and not even know enough to get into a stance? Idiot. Naruto didn't speak. The black-haired boy charged in with his fist raised, only to switch to a spinning kick aimed at Naruto's head. Naruto threw a light palm strike at the incoming shin, stopping the momentum immediately. Sasuke fell to the ground with a grunt and a sore shin. Gasps and cries of girlish outrage followed, accompanying Sasuke as he picked himself up. Lucky hit, try this. Naruto ducked under the left jab and countered with a lightning-fast uppercut to Sasuke's chin. The poor Uchiha was sent airborne out of the ring. His head snapped one made a sound, Sasuke's prone body not moving after the massive blow. Naruto dusted his hands off on his dark shorts and walked to the sidelines next to Hinata. You might want to get a mednin to look at him real quick. I didn't put any chakra into that, but it probably still stung a bit. Naruto nonchalantly broke the silence. Before anyone could move to fetch a nurse, Sasuke shifted. Naruto walked over to him and looked into the groggy eyes. You're awake. Good on ya, Sasuke. Naruto offered a hand to the downed boy. What happened? Sasuke asked as he dismissed the helping hand and rose on his own. There was plenty of whispering going on around the two boys. Winner! Naruto Uzumaki! Iruka shouted from the opposite side of the ring. What? No way you won! Sasuke yelled, now facing Naruto. There's really no shame in losing to me, Sasuke, Naruto started. I'm pretty much a ninja already. You don't suck though. There was no response, and Sasuke sulked off to the side. Naruto shrugged and returned to Hinata's side as Iruka called another pair to fight. You were very good, Naruto, Hinata complimented as the blonde reached her. Yeah, I've never seen anyone whoop on Mr. Moody like that, Kiba said as he joined the pair. He was okay for an academy student, but the genin I fought weren't much older than us and way better than him, Naruto said nonchalantly, looking at Kiba as he spoke. He didn't mention that he fought the genin when he was younger though. Had to let Sasuke have a bit of dignity at least. No way you fought a real ninja, but I will admit you're really good. The Inuzuka laughed as his puppy barked and wiggled out of his arms. Oh, Akamaru says he was impressed too. Why thank you, Akamaru, Naruto laughed aloud, the small puppy trying to climb up Hinata's leg. The girl asked Kiba and eventually picked up the little dog. Naruto decided not to tell anyone about the people he'd fought and killed. He figured it wouldn't help him make friends too much. Hinata laughed along with the conversing boys, alternating between listening to them and watching whoever was fighting. Akamaru left her arms and went back to Kiba after a time, and she focused more on Naruto. They had been pretty good friends before he left, but now he was still Naruto, just somehow more. He still had his fun and goofy attitude, but it seemed like he could put it aside. He seemed to do so when he fought Sasuke, and something about that drew Hinata to him even more. Lunchtime. Naruto sat and ate with a pretty large group of people. He was ecstatic, the number of people willing to be his friend here astounded him. Naruto was especially keen with talking to Hinata and Kiba, of course, but there were two more guys that were pretty friendly too. Naruto caught their names a bit earlier, Choji and Shikamaru. So your family literally fights with shadows? Naruto asked around a mouthful of rice. Yeah, we have a bunch of jutsu based around it, but trying to learn them all is such a drag, was Shikamaru's response. Sounded lazy. The thin teen looked perpetually bored or tired and wore a spiky ponytail. Naruto thought it kind of looked like a pineapple. That is the most badass ninja thing I've ever heard about anything ever. And Choji's family specializes in body enhancement, Hinata spoke quietly. It was one of the first things she'd said since lunch started. Whoa, what does that even mean? Naruto asked in comical awe. We can make parts of our body really big and really strong, and my dad can even do it to his whole body, the larger student answered. Naruto had noticed him munching on a bag of chips earlier too, but this bag seemed to be relatively full. Whoa, Naruto stuck out his hand as if trying to make it expand to no avail. He did, however, notice Sasuke surrounded by a group of girls trying to get his attention. Sakura and Ino included. Naruto decided that he had made enough friends and didn't have to worry about those two girls, but the thought of them still hurt a little. What's the deal with Sasuke, guys? He asked. The other kids all exchanged glances before Shikamaru sighed and began to explain. You wouldn't know since you haven't been here, but Sasuke's been really distant and depressed since his clan was murdered. Naruto's mouth hung open in shock. His clan was attacked? By who? How many survived? Now I feel bad for him. Naruto felt Hinata's hand touch his shoulder. Naruto, he's the only survivor left in the village. And the reason it's hitting him so hard is because his older brother is the one who did it, Kiba joined in on the conversation. Naruto didn't respond other than looking at the boy again. He really didn't seem to be enjoying the attention of his fangirls. I'll be back, guys. Naruto grabbed his remaining lunch, left the group despite their protests, and then he made his way to Sasuke and his group of fangirls. Naruto noticed their glances as he got closer, but he paid them no mind. When Naruto reached the table Sasuke was at, he spoke up, Hey girls, can I get a few minutes to talk with Sasuke here? No way. Just because you got lucky earlier doesn't mean you're good enough to talk to him, screeched a brunette Naruto had never seen before. Sasuke gave him a questioning look. I'll go, yeah, Ino said as she rose from her seat. Her action genuinely surprised Naruto, and he gave her a smile in thanks. The rest of the girls gave their opinions on Naruto's desire for them to leave. Go. Naruto's voice changed by a tiny margin. Naruto let a bit of his killing intent leak out to get his simple message across, and the crowd laughed quickly. What do you want? Sasuke asked warily, his lunch sitting untouched in front of him. You didn't seem to be enjoying their company, Naruto responded as he continued to eat. And you thought I'd enjoy yours? Silence. The others told me what happened. I don't know what. About your family. More silence. I don't want to talk about it. Have you ever? That's none of your business. Sasuke was starting to sound more and more defensive. Do you plan to get revenge? Naruto asked bluntly. This time the silence was more awkward due to Sasuke's intense glare. How did you come to that guess? What makes you think that I want to kill my brother? Sasuke was definitely defensive now. I never said that, Naruto smiled sadly at the last Uchiha. I just know that everyone after a trauma like that is only alive for a specific reason, a reason that they usually put ahead of everything else. I also know that you'll be strong enough to do anything you want one day. You don't know anything. Sasuke looked down at his plate of food, his fist tightening. I know that I'm willing to help you, with whatever it is you need. Sasuke's fist unclenched, and his eyes rose from the table. What? Naruto placed a hand on his new friend's back. I'm an orphan too, Sasuke. Only difference is I've been one since the day I was born. Also, we'll be brothers of the battlefield one day, so never hesitate to ask me for help. Will you help me get stronger? Sasuke asked slowly, almost as if the words hurt him. You're the strongest person our age I know, probably as strong as my brother was at this age. I need the strength. I need his strength. Naruto smiled. That's something I think I can do. The bell rang and everyone started to shuffle their belongings around. Naruto cleaned up his lunch and started to walk next to Sasuke. Make sure you know what to do when you have the power, Sasuke. My sensei says that when someone dedicates their life to a single goal, they consider their life over after they achieve it. Don't let this be your only goal in life, because I know you'll kill him way before it's your time to die. Sasuke didn't say a word, but he walked more like a human that felt emotions than he had in a long time. Naruto's apartment. Ugh, hi, I'm finally home, Naruto yelled as he walked through his door. Do you have to be so loud about it? Kurama asked as he yawned. It was obvious that he had slept the day away. You aren't allowed to complain, you lazy fox. Naruto, you're back, Jiraiya yelled from the small kitchen. I made ramen for dinner, now come and tell me all about your first day of school. The Sannin laughed evilly as the look on Naruto's face gave him a hint at the coming story. Naruto sped to his bowl of ramen before he started his story. It's so boring. A few bites of instant ramen, while his sensei laughed at his misfortune. I mean, I made a handful of friends, so talking helps a little, but the actual classes stink. Only 3 months of this though, Jiraiya added helpfully. The two ate their respective dinners as Naruto gave a recap of his day, even adding in his budding friendship with the last Uchiha. Hinata was still his best friend, but Kiba was also pretty cool. Choji and Shikamaru were kinda his friends too, but they seemed to just do their own thing most of the time. About the Uchiha, Naruto, their murderer is still on the loose. Yeah, Sasuke's brother. Itachi, right? Naruto asked, slurping up the last of his noodles. Yes. And you see, back before we left to train you, I ran a spy network to keep tabs on as many Nukenin and other stuff as I could. And I have to start traveling again to pick up where I left off. Oh, you're leaving? For how long? Naruto asked quietly. Probably about a year. I have to meet up with most of my contacts to let them know I'm taking back over. I'll have Kakashi and my sensei check in on you every so often, okay? Jiraiya told his godson. Yeah, I'll just suffer through the academy without you, Naruto smirked, trying to get the mood to lighten back up. I'll be here too, Kit. Trust me, I know that much. They both laughed a little at this. I'll have to leave tonight, I'm almost finished packing. Jiraiya stood up from the table. He rustled Naruto's sloppy blonde mop of hair as he walked past, preparing to leave his student as much as he hated to. You know, you could get up to a lot of training since you won't be supervised. Part of me doesn't like the way you said that. It's a small part though. What you got, Kurama? Wouldn't hiding and running from security or ANBU be considered training? It's definitely hard enough. I'm so happy we're friends. Dear Ramen, how many years have I been trapped here? Naruto asked aloud, his face buried on the tabletop. The poor blonde was sitting with Shikamaru and Choji waiting for class to start. 3 days, was Shikamaru's curt reply. He didn't sound too excited either, but at least he wasn't sleeping yet. Don't lie to me, Shadow Boy. Naruto, Choji started around a handful of chips. I'll give you a chip if it makes the suffering any easier. Choji, you are an angel. Naruto gladly accepted the offered chip as their sensei walked in. Okay class, today will be a lecture on chakra control and the genin level leaf sticking exercise, Irika said as he arranged the papers on his desk. Naruto fought a groan as Shikamaru laid his head down for his ritualistic nap. Choji didn't stop eating his chips, but his eyes unfocused as the lecture began. Naruto noticed his friend's similar disposition to the lecture and hatched an idea. You guys, we should play a prank to get through this lecture. Naruto leaned to his friends and whispered. Too troublesome, just sleep. Shikamaru's voice was muffled by his arms. You would find breathing too troublesome if you didn't have to do it, Shikamaru, Choji whispered back. Some of his words were drowned out by the crunch of potato chips, but the message was clear enough. Okay, here's the plan. I brought a stink bomb today, Naruto explained. You just carry those things around? Choji interrupted. It helps pass the time, okay? Naruto shot back defensively. Anyways, Shikamaru, can you move things with your shadows? Who said I'd help you with your prank? Just answer the question. Naruto was getting a bit too loud and was shushed by Iruka. There is a variation of my shadow imitation technique my dad has had me working on, but it's not perfect or anything, Shikamaru told him reluctantly. Naruto knew better though. Shikamaru was pumped to do this. Probably. What is it, Shika? Come on, this will be fun. Choji whispered excitedly. It's called the shadow neck binding. Not as precise as the shadow sewing technique, but I haven't even started that one. It'll work. So the plan is, I'll hand Choji the bomb. Choji, I know you always have gum on you for whenever you finish smelly foods, so stick some chewed up gum on one side. They give it to Shikamaru to stick under Sasuke's seat. Naruto explained his plan while not looking at his friends. Iruka was currently facing them and Naruto didn't want to give anything away. Why Sasuke? He'll beat us up if he finds out it was us, Choji asked, a little fearfully. I'll handle him if we have to. Now come on. He's only 4 seats down, Shikamaru should be able to hold his technique that long. The trio pulled off the first part of the plan flawlessly. The issue started during the transfer to Sasuke's seat. The fuse was already pulled, so there were only a few seconds to get the bomb stuck under the targeted chair. Unfortunately, Shikamaru really hadn't practiced enough and dropped the bomb halfway to the goal. The stink bomb rolled under a random civilian's chair. His name was Kaido, and he was nothing but an innocent bystander. The 3 guilty boys sat ramrod straight as the first traces of the stink were noticed. Do you guys smell something funny? Oh God, it's horrible. Kaido, was that you? The boy under scrutiny yelled back, It wasn't me, I swear, but something smells horrible near me. Maybe it was Sasuke. This got the poor boy beat up by the numerous fangirls that sat as close to the object of their affection as possible. All the while, Iruka-sensei was covering his nose and yelling at all the children. As Naruto, Choji, and Shikamaru tried their best to hide their laughter, they noticed Kiba had passed out alongside his puppy. Naruto sat at the lunch table with Hinata at his side, the same side she sat at every day. Across the pair sat one of Naruto's newest friends, Shino. So your whole family uses bugs to fight? Naruto asked. Yes, the sunglasses-wearing boy answered simply. Do you use any other jutsu to support them? Naruto pressed, trying his best to initiate an actual conversation. No. Naruto shrugged. He had tried numerous times, but if that was just the way Shino was, then he could live with that. Naruto, how has your training been going? Hinata asked from Naruto's left. I can't really try anything new since I don't have access to the ninja portion of the library yet. And I can't use any of the ninja training grounds, and those are the only places I can use bigger jutsu I already know. I've mostly been doing physical exercises and shadow boxing to keep my taijutsu form up. Yes, it's been extremely boring. What's this? You're awake? During school? What of it? It's boring in here and I can only sleep so much during the day. You should sneak out and do some real training. You're probably still stuck at 5 Tails. Naruto was about to retort when Hinata spoke up again. And Naruto, maybe we could spend some free time together then? Someone has a love interest, I see. Maybe I should be awake more often, Kit. Go back to sleep. Asshat. That'd be great. I'm always so bored at home. Shino, do you want to come too? Naruto asked with all the enthusiasm in the world. Having real friends was great. Shino looked at the downtrodden face Hinata made at Naruto's invitation, but honestly he wouldn't mind either way. We shall see. I may or may not be training with family, but spending time with such a powerful ally may be beneficial. My Kakashi, tell me you really are quite strong. Naruto sat with his mouth hanging ageki. That was a full sentence. Great job, Shino. Yes. Hinata giggled and Naruto threw his hands up in exasperation. How did you become so strong? Sasuke asked as he sat next to Naruto on a bench. The sun was setting and the two had just finished their weekly training session. Hours and hours of killing myself, Naruto responded. HN. Did you just grunt at me? Naruto asked, his eyebrow raised. It's something all Uchiha do. Fortunately for you, this one hasn't been corrupted by his clan yet. You are great at holding grudges, you know that? It happens, Sasuke mumbled, smirking. You're a real piece of work, you know that? Naruto accused. You need a larger vocabulary, you know that? I don't need to hear this from you. Naruto cut the link for a while, stopping Kurama's laughter immediately. The two sat in comfortable silence for a while. Do you ever think about them? Naruto asked quietly. What? Who? Sasuke shot back. You know. Your parents. Usually, Sasuke wouldn't even listen to talk of his family. Maybe it was the exhaustion brought on from the training. Yeah. Whenever I'm alone, really. Good memories at least? Naruto asked softly. Mostly about why they died. About how cruel and demented my brother is. Naruto noticed that for some reason Sasuke was actually opening up. What do you remember about that night? If you want to talk about it. He was my hero. I dreamed of growing up to be like him. I was training all day that day he decided to test himself. It's the only reason that I was spared. I was walking back home, and I remember being excited to show him the new move I had perfected. Not my parents, not my father Itachi. Naruto heard the shuddering breath he sucked in. He didn't say anything and just let Sasuke compose himself since he was on a roll. As soon as I walked into the compound I saw the bodies. In the streets, hanging out of their windows, everywhere. My first thoughts were if my family was okay, and if Itachi was home to protect them. A sneer grew on Sasuke's face. I knew that as long as he was around nothing could touch my family. He was too strong for that. Naruto shifted in his seat as Sasuke tightened his fists, the atmosphere shifting along with his tone. I walked in on him standing over our parents. I wanted to believe with everything I had that he was just too late to save them, and the blood on his sword was from whoever killed our parents. But as soon as he looked at me, I knew the truth. His eyes were dead. Cold. As lifeless as my mom and dad's body lying at his feet. Sasuke was breathing heavily, almost as if telling the story physically hurt him. Naruto almost wanted to reach out and lay a hand on his friend's shoulder in comfort, but he was afraid to break whatever trance made Sasuke so open about the past. I asked him why, and still call him brother, the words were bitter. He told me, he said, to test my own ability, Sasuke. And you shall be my greatest test. I will let you live so you may one day challenge me. When you have the same eyes as I, come before me. Tears were flowing down Sasuke's cheeks at this point. From that day, I've lived my life hating the brother that never loved me. And because of that, I will become stronger than him and kill him. I will return honor to my clan, even if it kills me. Sasuke hung his head and let the tears hit the pavement. Naruto put a comforting hand on Sasuke's shoulder and waited for the tears to stop. Sasuke, I don't think he told you everything. What? Sasuke didn't look up. I don't think he was testing himself. Who else has he killed? Naruto asked softly. What are you talking about? He told me himself. He put me in a genjutsu and showed me his memories of murdering everyone. Sasuke argued vehemently. Maybe he lied. Ever since I found out, I looked into him some. He hasn't killed any big shots after the whole If he really was testing himself, he would have killed more big names. There's more to this story, Sasuke. Don't try to get my hopes up. I'm not. He's still a traitor, but maybe he was forced. Maybe he actually loved you more than anything and that's why he spared you. Maybe someone threatened you or the village if he didn't what they wanted. So what do I do then? I have to kill him, Naruto. You can't change my mind. I know how much you hate me focusing on revenge. All I'm saying is that maybe you should focus on getting the whole story from him before killing him. If any, think of it as gaining intel for whoever else deserves your vengeance. Fine. But killing him is still a priority. I can't do anything until I avenge my family. Naruto sat with Sasuke a bit longer, his heart aching for him. Maybe I was wrong about this one. The evil of his clan didn't corrupt him, it broke him. Naruto, if there's anyone that can help him, it's you. You helped me, you can help him. What? I thought Gamamaru helped you. No, he only reminded that the anger I held wasn't mine. None of the Biju are hateful beings. I never told you, but I've been under the control of the Uchiha before. Their genjutsu is a kind that even I can't break. Only a sage can break it. But you gave me something other than hatred. Without you, there would have been nothing but the hatred that genjutsu left. Naruto was stunned but determined. Thank you for telling me, Kurama. I planned to help him anyway, but thank you. Don't go mushy on me, Kit. Maybe it's time you accepted a new family, Sasuke. People can care about you. I do. Let me help you, in battle and at home. As your brother. Sasuke sat silently, not acknowledging Naruto's words. I'm heading home. Thanks for training. And with that, he left. Graduation day. He did it. Naruto made it 3 months without snapping and blowing up the academy. Granted, he mostly did it with a combination of sleeping, shadow clones, and small pranks to help the time pass by, but he did it. Today was the graduation exam, and Naruto couldn't wait to be done with the wretched classroom. It had been a busy 3 months outside of the classroom, though. Naruto didn't shirk on his training, studying Fuinjutsu daily, laps around the village, and hiding from the ANBU who were sent to find the perpetrator of multiple pranks. The stink bombs in the Inuzuka compound was one of his favorites. Simple, yet elegant in the way of him managing to plant one in the drawers of several female members of the clan. He really didn't want the blame to fall on him for that one. His sensei's perversion must have rubbed off on him a little. Somewhere deep in river country, Jiraiya felt an overwhelming surge of pride. Naruto must have done something, but what could it have been? Are you distracted by something? A shadowy figure asked Jiraiya. Just thoughts of home, nothing to worry about. Getting soft, old man? The smirk was invisible, but implied. If I didn't need you conscious, I show you how soft my fists have gotten. Naruto sat in the front row alone for once. His leg was bouncing in anticipation, and he watched as the class filed in. He had told everyone that he didn't want any company during class today, he just wanted to get things over with as soon as possible. Soon enough, everyone was present and Irika stood at the head of the classroom. Okay, class. Today is the first opportunity at the graduation exam for this year. Here's how things will work. First, we'll have the taijutsu examination in the training yard. We'll have help from my friend Mizuki, a chunin who teaches another class that has today off. Next, we'll test shuriken and kunai accuracy, and then we'll finish the day with ninjutsu. Understand? Meet me in the yard in 5 minutes, and be lined up by name. It was finally Naruto's turn to spar with Mizuki. Naruto was starting to dislike the fact that his last name starts with a U. So far, only Kiba and Sasuke had managed to land a real hit on the chunin examiner, but to pass you only need Mizuki's approval. If you asked Naruto, Mizuki was a poor excuse for a chunin. Maybe teachers didn't train as much or something, but he seemed subpar to the other chunin Naruto occasionally spied on. For training reasons, of course. Naruto stepped into the ring and caught a disgusted look on the face of Mizuki out of the corner of his eye. Naruto no longer had too much prejudice coming in because of the fox. The little he did was from second-rate ninja who hated anything to do with the QB, and Naruto just happened to be included on the list. Naruto paid it no mind and he heard Irika give him the signal to start. Naruto cleared his head and heart, having already decided to fight to subdue. If he was trying to impress Mizuki, he wouldn't settle for fighting to spar. Naruto was sure that the chunin wouldn't last too long, he was obviously out of practice. He must only train to fight academy students. Pathetic. Naruto blurred forward, the looks of surprise on Mizuki's face was probably mirrored on Irika. Naruto had kept true to his word, having only ever fought Sasuke his first day of class. If Naruto was forced into the ring, he would always bow out somehow. But now, he was fighting someone who could keep up with him and survive. Naruto threw a chakra-enhanced kick at Mizuki's head, the sheer speed blurring the motion and the power behind the kick nearly breaking his teacher's block. Naruto twisted in the air and landed a powerful punch on his target's ribs. The grunt that followed was a precursor to Mizuki's counter, a hammer fist aimed at Naruto's head. Naruto shifted and let the attack graze along his arm. Naruto then grabbed his teacher's right arm as he kicked out his legs. Naruto tried to twist the arm behind Mizuki's back, but his teacher rolled and stood back up while freeing his arm. Mizuki attacked next, dashing to the left and lashing out with a blazing kick meant to hit Naruto in the middle of his back. Naruto jumped, flipped in the air, and attempted to land a falling kick. Mizuki blocked with both arms, his knees bending with the force. Naruto set one foot on the ground, keeping as much pressure as he could on Mizuki's arms. Suddenly, Naruto sped to his teacher's side and landed another powerful punch to the exposed ribs. If Naruto had Kurama's cloak activated, it would have been a killing blow. Regardless, Mizuki cried out and dropped his arms to cover the injured area. A series of quick, straight punches landed in a barrage. Naruto finished the fight with a chakra-powered roundhouse kick to his teacher's skull, knocking Mizuki unconscious. Naruto stood panting, wary of another move from the Chunin. Pass? Iruka sounded rattled. I guess it's a good thing you were last on the list. I didn't expect him to leave himself as open as he did. I was just trying to impress him, Naruto responded sheepishly. Naruto was hyper-aware of the many students who were whispering about not even seeing some of the fight due to the speed. If their eyes couldn't follow a fight, then they probably weren't ready after all. The next test was for throwing. Naruto stood on the line next to Sasuke, training shuriken and kunai in his hands. Sasuke managed a perfect score, and Naruto matched him. The two had met up at least once a week outside of class to work on various ninja arts and to talk. They were both technically living alone and had plenty of free time, and much of it was spent training. The test itself wasn't much to get excited about, the 20 yards not being difficult at all. After everyone finished up trying their hand at throwing weapons, Iruka herded the children to a larger training field to start testing them on ninjutsu. Standard graduation demanded mastery over the Academy 3 jutsu, but students were also allowed to try for bonus points by demonstrating 2 additional jutsu. Additional jutsu made a candidate more likely to be elected for an elite team. Students were called one at a time to eliminate any extra pressure. Again, Naruto was the last to be tested. Okay, Naruto. I need you to show me the kawarimi, the henge, and any form of bunshin. You can also show off 2 additional jutsu if you want extra points, Iruka explained to him. Naruto wore a thinking expression for a split second before he made up his mind. Naruto made 2 shadow clones, one of which henged into Iruka-sensei. The second one used a shunshin to appear in a deserted area of the training ground. The Iruka clone then used kawarimi with the normal shadow clone and swapped places. The original Naruto fired off a massive daitapa at the Iruka lookalike. The great breakthrough sent the clone flying into the distant trees, many of which were toppled by the force of the gale. Did that count? Or am I not allowed to have my clones do the jutsu? Naruto asked slyly. Iruka stood staring at the devastation the wind jutsu wrought. His mouth closed before he responded. Yeah, no, it's fine. You get a pass for ninjutsu. Naruto walked back inside, the rest of the students already finished. I wish I could have watched you, and Naruto, Hinata said as the blonde took the seat next to her. It was nothing you won't see soon enough since we'll be able to use practice fields as ninja, Naruto assured her. I'm not as confident that I passed as you are, though, Hinata replied softly. Nah, I'm sure you did great. You probably even made it onto a team. Naruto tried his best to keep her hopes up, but she was still terribly shy and lacked confidence. Her stutter had lessened ever since he started talking to her, but she still seemed nervous all the time. Eventually, Iruka walked back in with a stack of papers. Okay, class. I have the results here. If I call your name, you can go to lunch. A good half of the class left for the lunchroom. Iruka continued after the last student he called left. Now if I call your name, please go into the classroom next door. All but 10 names were called. Now, you kids are going to come back tomorrow, Iruka smiled then, for your team placements. The uproar was immediate and quite loud. Yeah. I did it. I can't believe it, I made it on a team. Sasuke, will you be on my team? Naruto sat and smiled to himself, happy that the 3 months of torture was over. Naruto opened his door, excited to grab some cash and head over to Ichiraku's to celebrate. He didn't spend as much time at the stand of the gods as he would like. Ever since Naruto went on the bug diet of empty Mayaboku, he had picked up a diet with more protein in it. At the end of the day, though, miso ramen would hold a special place in his heart. I hear you made it to the team placements, Naruto. Naruto whipped around to see Kakashi sitting in the old chair. Uncle Kakashi, when did you get back from your mission? The mission Naruto was asking about had been a month-long S-rank solo mission. Naruto had to admit that Kakashi actually was one of the best ninjas in the village. I've been back for about a day. The Hokage has me preparing for an even longer mission now. Kakashi noticed the frown Naruto wore at the statement. He's gotta take on a group of troublesome brats, gods bless him, came another voice from the kitchen. Naruto knew that voice instantaneously. Sensei. Naruto was suddenly crushing Jiraiya's chest with arms that now reached all the way around the man's trunk with length to spare. Jiraiya felt happy for a moment, and then he felt a tinge of regret. Regret that he had both missed so much of the boy's growth, and that he called him sensei instead of dad. Maybe Hiruzen had a point and Jiraiya really missed out during his younger years. Hey there, Naruto, don't go crushing me now. The Sannin laughed. When did you get back? Naruto asked, pulling away from the bone-crushing hug. Couple of hours ago. I'm the one that told Kakashi about your test results. What? How did you know about them? Naruto asked in total confusion. Well, I'm Konoha's spy master for a reason. Jiraiya didn't mention that a genin gave the results to the Hokage just as Jiraiya was checking in. You couldn't let me have a bit of glory, Jiraiya? Kakashi called from his spot in the chair. Nah, you gotta earn that for yourself. The white-haired man sat at the table and gestured to the food he had brought home. Take out. From Ichiraku's. You know me so well, sensei, Naruto exclaimed just before he dug into the miso ramen. It's all you ever ask about to celebrate things like this. Jiraiya opened his own carton as Kakashi joined the duo at the table. You still remembering to turn off your seal at night? Naruto finished what he had in his mouth. Usually, yeah. Sometimes I just forget, but it's only about once a week. How about after we eat we head out to a training ground and let you cut loose? Kakashi offered around his own food. Somehow the noodles were disappearing behind the mask, but it never left his face. Really? I'm allowed? Naruto asked in amazement. I already got permission from the Hokage, yes, Jiraiya told the boy. Alright. Naruto then, somehow, managed to down his ramen even faster than before. Naruto looked across the field at Kakashi, who still had his book out in front of him. You might want to put away your book, Kakashi, he called out. Don't overestimate yourself, Naruto. Jiraiya then called out to his student, Okay, Naruto. Seal off, fight to subdue, no restrictions other than to leave Kurama out of it. Why does the old one have to impede on my fun? We already know that you kick ass, this is to see if I live up to the hype of being your Jinchuriki. Flattery will get you everywhere, Kit. Hey, Jiraiya? What is his seal set at? Kakashi asked, still refusing to put away his orange book. He maxed it out at 4x gravity before we got back to Konoha. Kakashi seemed to debate a moment, and then tucked the book away. Okay, Naruto. Let's see what you've got. Naruto darted forward, drawing a kunai as he went. Kakashi mirrored him, and the two exchanged blows in rapid succession. Naruto knew he wasn't getting anywhere close to hitting Kakashi, and used Kawarimi on a log a fair distance behind the man. Kakashi hit the log with a light scratch of his kunai, and then whirled around to block a volley of shuriken. Kakashi didn't bother dodging as it was simple enough to block 4 shuriken. Kakashi kept an eye on the far tree line where they emerged from, cautious since the shuriken weren't the real threat. Suddenly, Kakashi whirled back around, where Naruto once again stood in place of the log. More blows from Naruto's kunai were blocked, and then Kakashi managed to land a rib-shattering punch on the boy. Kakashi knew better than to be worried. The Kyuubi would patch him up by morning. But something happened that Kakashi honestly should have expected. The Naruto in front of him dispersed in a poof of smoke. A shadow clone. Suddenly a pair of hands grabbed Kakashi's ankles, and the masked Jonin used a Kawarimi of his own to escape the headhunter technique before he was pulled into his knees. Every ninja knew that once your legs were submerged in the ground the Kawarimi became much more difficult to pull off. Naruto popped out of the ground and brushed off his shoulders. Inwardly, he cursed at the missed opportunity. Kakashi called out from the opposite end of the training field, Clever, Naruto. I assume you went under after your first Kawarimi and made the clone at the same time? Good tactic. Naruto, of course, didn't respond. He never talked unless he was fighting to teach or learn. Instead, a quick, sealless shunshin brought him behind his uncle, who he attacked with vigor. 2 clones popped into existence, and the 2 clones and Naruto threw a combination of kicks and swipes with the kunai at Kakashi. Kakashi had no problem blocking or evading all of the strikes and periodically hopped backward to avoid a simultaneous downward swipe from the clones and the original. Suddenly, the original Naruto went underground. The 2 clones jumped in the air with a Rasengan each, both of them trying to pin Kakashi to the ground. Kakashi simply jumped up and lashed out with kunai and foot to dispel the surprised clones. The real surprise came when Kakashi heard a jutsu muttered from the direction of the tree line. Futon de Tapa. Kakashi looked up as he neared the earth and saw a wall of powerful wind speeding straight for him. The Jonin didn't hesitate and blazed through a few hand signs before he hit the ground. Kakashi didn't have to mutter anything as an earthen wall sprung up in front of him, shielding him from the blast of air. Kakashi felt the wind threaten to topple the defensive construct. Rasengan! The swirling ball of pure energy slammed into the jonin, and then the wall. The entire wall fell to the attack, obliterated by the chakra. Kakashi went up in a poof of smoke, and Naruto stood in place, panting from the effort of the battle. Nice job, Naruto. I didn't actually expect you to hit my clone, Kakashi called out as he left the safety of the trees. Do you always call out the name of the move that you think is going to finish your opponent? Naruto smiled, knowing he had been fooled by his uncle once again. Nah, I just thought it would hurt your pride knowing what made you lose the fight. You didn't do too bad, Naruto. Good tactics, you still move pretty well, and your use of the jutsu was almost flawless, Jiraiya complimented. Let's head on home. You have a big day tomorrow. The trio left, Kakashi messing up Naruto's blonde mop as they walked. Naruto and Jiraiya sat in their living room. Kakashi had left earlier to get some rest of his own. Naruto, after you become a ninja, you will be considered an adult, Jiraiya said as he reclined the chair. I know. I still can't drink yet, so don't worry about me doing that. That's not what I'm worried about, Naruto. There was no room for joking in Jiraiya's tone. Naruto rarely heard this tone from his sensei, usually only when they discussed the heavier topics of being a shinobi, such as killing. Naruto, I know that you're a great shinobi already. And you don't really need a sensei anymore. Anything you want to learn now, you can. I'll be here when I can and you can always ask me for advice, but you are your own man now. Naruto felt his throat start to get tighter than usual. He didn't say anything until he knew his voice wouldn't break from the recognition he was receiving from the most important role model in his life. With that being said, I need to know that you'll become a good man. There is a difference between being a man and a shinobi, and I need to know that you'll be both. Naruto only nodded. From here, your choices are your own, and I won't tell you what's right. Just remember, whatever path you choose, I will always, always, love you. I am already so very proud of you, Naruto, so I don't want you to ever have to worry about that. Make your goals in life for yourself, and be happy. Naruto hung his head now, hiding the tears that slowly streamed down his face. He was so lucky that he had someone to care for him like this, and his thoughts briefly flashed over to Sasuke before coming back to the present. I do suggest that at some point you write down who you want to be. Trust me, it helps when times get tough. Write to remind yourself what you think a good man should be like, and what you aspire to be. I'm not worried though. You are your father's son, after all. And once you become a chunin, you will know who he is, and you can decide what to do with the information on your own. Jiraiya stood and brushed at his own eyes, glad Naruto was fixated on the carpet. I'm headed to bed. Good night, Naruto. Naruto remained on the couch for a time. He's right, you know. Your father would have been very proud of you. Your mother no doubt as well. You know who they are? Yes, but I will adhere to the old one's wishes and let him be the one to tell you. He has earned that much respect from me at least. Thanks, I guess. I just didn't expect all this tonight, you know? I'm still kind of reeling. I didn't even expect him to be home. Don't underestimate the love of a father. My own would have done anything for my siblings and I. Jiraiya may not be your biological parent, but he raised you. And he was right about writing down your values. Yeah, I think I'll do that now to clear my head. Maybe then I'll be able to sleep. Naruto trudged to his room in the apartment, and sat himself down at his desk. He pulled out a scroll, some ink, and his feather pen. Usually, he practiced his fuinjutsu here, but he felt like he was now doing something much more important. Naruto Uzumaki's list to live life by. Shinobi have no room for honor. That is for samurai and dead ninja. But a man is allowed to be as honorable as any samurai. All ninja are tools to protect the village from harm. But all real men put what they love above all else. I will never abandon my friends. Nor will I ever disappoint my family. I will not let what happens on a mission affect what happens in my home. Mercy isn't for the weak, it is for the deserving. Death may be mine to deliver, but it isn't mine to control. If I am able to help someone, I will put their needs above my own. If I ever have to choose between honor and duty, I will choose both. Or die trying. Naruto left room to add more and put the writing tools away. He crawled into bed and tried his best to sleep. The next day. Now, there are a few teams that are still in rotation from the years before you guys and other classes, so your team number may be a bit odd, Iruka explained to the students in front of him. No, the genin. Iruka had to remember that they weren't his little academy students anymore. Iruka-sensei, what happens if our Jounin-sensei don't like the team they get? Sakura asked. Any team that doesn't meet their sensei's expectations shall be sent into the genin pool, so you can still become a ninja. Don't worry, Iruka assured her. Okay, here's the team assignments. Iruka cleared his throat to get the utmost attention. Team 7 will be Uchiha Sasuke, Haruno Sakura, and Kaido. The three looked to each other, Sakura focusing solely on Sasuke. Sasuke looked extremely upset, almost depressed. He had likely been sure that Naruto would be the other person on his team since he was the only one to beat Sasuke's scores. And why Sakura? All she was good for was her brain. Literally, all of her best scores come from written exams. Kaido was decent enough. He was pretty crafty in a fight and hit pretty hard, but nowhere near Naruto and probably even less so than Kiba. Team 8 will be Inuzuka Kiba, Aburame Shino, and Hyuga Hinata. Naruto looked to Hinata. The only other person he'd rather be on a team with was Sasuke. She was impressive, and Naruto knew she'd grow to be strong one day. One day soon if she would gain some confidence. When he thought about it, though, the team was a good one. They were definitely a tracking team, and with Hinata and Kiba they would be able to knock the target out fairly quickly. Team 10 will be Yamanaka Ino, Nara Shikamaru, and Akamichi Choji. Those three also made a lot of sense to Naruto. Shikamaru and Choji were already super close friends, and Naruto often saw them spending time with Ino when she wasn't fawning over Sasuke. Plus, with Shikamaru to hold a target steady, Choji could squash almost anyone. Naruto wasn't too sure on Ino's ability, but she would probably help if she made it on a team. Suddenly, Naruto froze and thought. He was the last one left. There was no team for him, he would be solo. He wouldn't be on his uncle's team like he had wanted. Would he go to the genin pool? Or would he be allowed to support full teams? Uzumaki Naruto, I am proud to announce that you will be Konoha's first support genin since the introduction of the program. A round of cheers went up as Naruto stood and gave a few mock bows. Thank you, thank you. I will give autographs after the show. Iruka cleared his throat again. Naruto, you are to report immediately to the Hokage. The rest of you, please wait here for your Jounin-sensei to show up and give you instructions from there. Well, new genin, are you excited? Hiruzen smiled warmly at Naruto, who took a seat across from the old man. You bet. Now I can get into the library, and use the training grounds, and go on missions, and Naruto immediately started listing off his plans. Whoa now, let's focus on one thing at a time, now. The Hokage laughed. Okay, what's the plan? Well, I should probably explain your position to you. Hiruzen took a puff of his pipe. Naruto, you are really only a genin in name. If I was being honest, you are more like a middle-status chunin. So I can skip a rank? Naruto asked, his head cocking to the side. Technically? Yes. But I want to show you off at the next chunin exams, which will be held here. It will be a great way to let the world know that Konoha is still powerful, and also a great way for you to start making a name for yourself. Naruto sat in contemplation and began to nod his head in appreciation. I have no problem showing off for you, old man. Another chuckle. Believe me, Naruto, I know you don't mind showing off. He's got you there. Stop talking. Make me. Bite me. You like women, Naruto. Namely Hinata. Naruto thanked every god for the training he received to hide emotions, else the blush would tip off the Hokage to his inner thoughts and conversation. Here's how things work, Naruto. You have to complete 6 D-ranked missions to be allowed to partake in any C rank. Now D-ranks are little more than chores that civilians need help with, but they are a steady flow of income when bigger missions go dry. Also, I use them as punishments, so don't forget that. The Hokage gave Naruto a slight glare. He probably knew that Naruto was behind most of the pranks in the village. Aside from that, you can start deciding on where you want your ninja career to go. I want to be the Hokage. Where do I sign up for that? Naruto asked quickly. There was a loud, genuine laugh from the old Sarutobi. Oh Naruto, you can't just jump into the hat and robes. You need a name for yourself, a reputation. Most of what I do to keep the village safe is paperwork and intimidation. Only a fool would attack a village protected by someone like the Yellow Flash or the god of shinobi. Plus you need the support of the village, which is best gained through service to it. Well, you didn't have to laugh at me. How do I do that then? Naruto grumbled. Join a division. Serve your village. You can't officially join a branch until you're a chunin, but you can prepare as a genin. The Yondaime was the head of our sealing corps before he was the Hokage. I ran the research and advanced teaching department. There's been several nominees from the ANBU, the interrogation and torture department, and even the medical corps. So I just pick one and get really good, right? Naruto asked in confirmation. That's the gist of it, yeah? Well, I guess I should go bang out those D ranks and start thinking. Naruto stood to leave, the bounce in his step still noticeable. Good luck, Naruto. I know you'll be great, Hiruzen muttered the last part to himself since the blonde child had already left. Great indeed. Naruto went home before he went to get his ninja ID photo taken. He figured that he'd change, grab a few supplies, and then head straight to the mission board reserved for genin. Naruto looked through his closet and noted the one-dimensional color scheme. Sure, orange was a great color. Sure, he no longer wore a literal suit of his favorite color. But he still had to get some darker clothing for stealth purposes. Naruto currently had one dark blue short-sleeved shirt and a few pairs of black pants with an orange stripe down the side. Throwing on the shirt and a pair of the darker pants, Naruto promised himself that he'd go to a ninja clothing store as soon as he finished the day's missions. Naruto left the apartment and headed back towards the Hokage's building. Naruto passed more than a few people on his walk, most of them oblivious to his presence. A few groups of kids were running around, playing like there wasn't a care in the world. The sight brought a smile to Naruto's face, and he entered the administrative building with his mood set high. Hello, how may I help you? The receptionist asked as Naruto entered the lobby. I'm here to register as a ninja. Naruto Uzumaki. A few papers were shuffled and the light-haired lady reached into a drawer. One standard Hittite, one pasta for an ID photo, your registration papers, and one free genin level weapon kit. Your kit has 6 kunai and a dozen shuriken. Naruto Uzumaki, your identification number is 012607. The door to your left will take you to the photo room, she told Naruto with a rehearsed tone and professional smile. Naruto accepted everything she gave him, looking oddly at the weapon kit. When he thought about it, he figured that many orphans did try to become ninja, and they wouldn't be able to buy weapons for themselves. Naruto thanked her with a smile and walked into the next room with the pass in his hand. Inside the photo room was a camera on a stand and another civilian girl reading what seemed to be a copy of Kakashi's favorite book. As soon as she took notice of Naruto, though, the book was tucked away and her dark hair flipped over her shoulder as she stood. Hello, do you have a first-time pass or are you paying for a retake today? She asked, her bubbly voice pleasant to Naruto's ears. First time today, I just got my papers and forehead protector, Naruto informed her as he handed her the pass. She looked briefly at the paper as Naruto tied the Hittite to his head. Okay, just stand over on that X whenever you're ready. Naruto stood in the aforementioned spot and smiled at the camera, holding up a two-fingered salute. His smile was large and proud, and his forehead protector was proudly holding up his spiky blonde mop of hair. Naruto started to drop his smile, and open his eyes fully to ask what the delay was when the flash blinded him. He staggered a bit, the effects reminding him of the first time he tried to make a flash tag. There we go, sometimes the button sticks, the photographer said aloud as she inspected the photo. I've seen better, but I've seen worse. This'll work out just fine until you decide you've outgrown it. How long until the ID is done? Naruto asked, moving to sit down at a table. You're the first one in today, so there's no line. Probably no more than 10 minutes. Naruto left the photography room feeling accomplished. He looked at the clock and noted that it was only approaching 10 in the morning and decided that he had time to finish all 6 of the D ranks he needed by dinner time. Naruto walked down the hall, following signs towards the various lounges. Just past the Jonin lounge was the Chunin lounge, but compared to the Jonin one it seemed more like a mess hall with a few extra benches. Past those still was the mission board's office. The long room had only a few ninja in it, all of them Chunin but one genin that stared at a mission he had obviously just grabbed. Naruto walked in and took stock of the boards. Every board was labeled with their respective missions D through B. All of the higher-ranked missions came directly from the Hokage, and it was the same thing with lower-ranked missions that paid extra for immediate response. If Naruto remembered one of the few interesting lectures right, the Hokage still occasionally assigned missions, usually ones that were important or close to expiration. Naruto walked up to the D board and noticed that they were indeed chores. Painting fences, fetching groceries, catching stray bothersome animals, retrieving pets, the list went on and on. Their payouts were anywhere between 2,500 Ryo and 10,000 Ryo, with a 10% tax on any missions that would go back to the village. Nothing too outrageous, but it would be enough for a day of honest work to a genin. Well, Naruto didn't have to do them one at a time. Naruto grabbed 2 that requested fence painters, 2 that asked for help moving construction supplies until lunchtime, one from the Hokage asking for a park to be cleaned of litter, one that called for walking an elderly civilian from one end of town to the other, and one that mentioned something about a missing cat named Tora that was strangely worth a full 10,000 ryo. "Why'd you grab so many, kid? Friends send you in here or something?" one of the older chunin asked from the C-ranked board. "Nah, I just have to get 6 done before I'm allowed to go on real missions," Naruto told him absently as he read the details of each mission. "You should just come back here as you complete them, you know. Someone else could do one while you finish another. That way the client doesn't have to wait." The kind chunin was obviously trying to help Naruto, who had the look of a fresh genin. To be fair, he technically was. "Well, they won't have to wait," Naruto told him as he made a total of 24 shadow clones. The chunin in the room all stood with their mouths agape. Holy what? "I've never taken missions before, but I assume that most people will be expecting 3-man teams at the most, right?" Naruto asked politely as he handed out the various missions to his clones. Yeah? Hey, are those shadow clones? And aren't you a genin?" The first nice chunin from earlier questioned loudly, voicing everyone else's thoughts as well. Naruto laughed. "Yeah, they're shadow clones and I'm technically a genin. Do you think that 3 per painting and construction job is enough? And what about 6 to clean a park and find some cat named Tora?" Naruto planned on helping the old lady personally, so he knew she'd be more than fine. The assembled chunin nodded numbly, their mouths still trying to form coherent words. The first one had the most luck. "Are you sure it's smart to use clones? What if they dispel early? And you might need the chakra." These guys all have 12 hours worth of chakra without using jutsu, and maybe 10 hours with light jutsu use. And I don't really worry about chakra," Naruto explained as he finished passing out the missions to the clones and separating them into groups. There was silence in the room as Naruto turned to his audience. "Well, gotta get these done before dinner. Later guys, thanks for the advice." And all 25 Narutos vanished in a swirl of leaves, leaving even more shocked shinobi in the room. The genin in the corner walked out angrily muttering, "That's not even fucking fair." Naruto swirled into view in front of the door that read the address on the mission request. Naruto knocked politely and waited patiently. Soon enough a young woman opened the door, a smile stuck on her face. "Oh, are you the ninja here to help get grandmother home?" she asked warmly. Naruto was really happy with all the positivity he'd been getting lately, but he was afraid to say so aloud and risk jinxing it. "Yup. Wherever she needs to go, I'll get her there," Naruto responded just as happily. "Okay, great. Hold on just a second and I'll go get her," the woman started, but she was interrupted by a second voice. "No need, darling, I'm all ready to go," said a short, wrinkled, and hunched-over woman. Her gray hair was tied back in a neat bun, and she had a suitcase in one hand with her other clutching the head of a cane. Naruto could tell that she had lived a long, full life. "Oh, grandmother. I didn't know you were so eager to leave." The younger of the two women fake pouted. I was a newlywed once too, believe it or not. I don't want to risk being here any longer than I already have, darling. Now I'll be on my way so you go get started on my great-grandbabies." The elderly lady laughed as her granddaughter blushed scarlet and hurriedly closed the door. Naruto pretended to be oblivious until the woman's attention shifted to him. And you are the young man that'll be taking me home?" she asked Naruto. "That's right, ma'am, I'm a newly promoted genin and you're my first client," Naruto told her as he took the bag from her. And she was his first. Well, personally his first. "My husband used to be a ninja. We made a fair bit of money in our lives, so I like to hire new ninja to give them a little boost in my husband's honor. May he rest in peace," she told Naruto as they started the long walk to her home. "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that he passed," Naruto told her sincerely. "Thank you, but he died honorably in the line of duty, and he gave me 2 beautiful girls. I can't complain about that in my old age. The woman you met is my youngest daughter's only child." "I see, she seemed very happy," Naruto stated. "My name is Naruto, by the way. And your name is Akiyama, yes?" "That's right, and my husband's name was Riku. I still remember the day he swept me off of my feet. Have you been in love yet, Naruto?" she asked, trying to keep the small talk going. "Not yet, no," Naruto smiled softly. "How did you fall in love with your husband?" The old woman smiled even harder than she did before. "He was a ninja by the time I met him. A chunin, I think. He asked me out for sushi after meeting me at the market buying fruit. I didn't fall in love with him until our 4th date though. He picked me up and carried me over rooftop after rooftop and would bring me to his secret hiding place. It's still my favorite memory." Naruto noticed the faraway look in her eyes. Would you like to travel by rooftop again? The tears in her eyes were immediate, and Naruto knew he made the right choice. Could we? Oh, but what of my bag? I don't want you overtaxing yourself. Naruto waved off her concern and handed the luggage to a clone that appeared behind him in a puff of smoke. Naruto then gently picked up Akiyama, leaped to the nearest rooftop in an effortless leap, and traveled with her to relive her memories of the person she cherished most. Naruto sat inside the mission department's main lobby, waiting for the rest of his clones to enter. They couldn't shunshin inside due to the protective seals, but Naruto knew that once they finished it wouldn't take them long to find him. The park cleaners were done first, and they strolled in at 11:30 nearly on the dot. Naruto took the signed mission form and prepared for the incoming memories as they dispelled. The memories weren't much. Mostly cleaning, a few conversations with passers-by, and 1 or 2 clones chasing after a squirrel. The first set of painters was followed in by their counterparts half an hour later. Naruto took the 2 mission forms and again prepared for the memory surge. Nothing but painting there. The 6 clones sent to construction had the most interesting memories by far. The clones only had to move equipment every 10 minutes or so, and between that time there was a lot of jokes between workers and even an arm wrestling match with one clone. Naruto smiled at some of the memories and regret not being present himself. Naruto decided that from then on, he would avoid using clones to do missions if he could help it. Sometimes the people were worth more than the reward. Naruto sat